Morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday. It's January 23rd. What happened? Like what even happened this month? I don't know what to do with that. It is January 23rd. Next week, all of the coverage, well, until the hearing's over, is going to be Murdaugh new trial evidentiary hearing. We're going to be back in court next week. If you are not in the Law Nerd app, now is the time. LawNerdApp.com. It is our free app. We are going to be doing gavel to gavel coverage. You are not going to want to miss the Law Nerd app, especially if you have like other stuff you have to do. As witnesses take the stand, as stuff happens in court, we're going to be sending you notifications to let you know so that you don't miss the minutes that you want to see the most. So that's exactly what we're going to do in the Law Nerd app next week while I'm covering that hearing. We will also be in court live on Friday in Idaho. Today, we are going to court in Tallahassee. It is a busy day, and we're back to one of the things I like a lot. I like a lot. I like live court a lot. So I'm really excited. Today, we are going to cover new documents-ish in the Donna Adelson case. We're going to cover her last court appearance. It's a pretty short hearing, about 15 minutes. We're going to talk about her new attorneys and attorney conflict. Then we're going to go to Idaho, swoop in on what we can swoop in on, because so much is under seal, and get ready for the Idaho hearing on Friday. And then I have some stuff that we need to cover for Thursday that I'm excited to get to, that I've been restraining myself from taking a look at, because I'm like, okay, hang on, wait for the Law Nerds, don't preview it. So we have a bunch of documents on Thursday to go over, and some case updates tomorrow on the podcast. I do. For those of you in the chat, Cheryl, I like it a lot. That's exactly what happened in my head. I like it a lot. I'm really excited. For tomorrow, we have the podcast dropping. The Emily Show is covering the arrest of cheer coach Monica Aldama's son. So if you watch Cheer on Netflix, her son was recently arrested on a 10-count state indictment for possession of child materials. It's a really horrific indictment. I sanitize that as much as I can for the podcast, and we go over what those crimes are and what that looks like. And then I break down the new filings by Kevin Franke in the Jody Hildebrandt. Yeah, Kevin Franke filed motions against Jody Hildebrandt in Utah. So tomorrow is a heavier topic, but I recorded it with the members only, and I think it's sanitized well enough that we can cover it and y'all can understand the law without needing to be traumatized by the things. So that's what we're doing. So Kevin Franke is the bulk of that episode. All right. So with all of that, family account, I love that. I'm literally here because Emily does not say the horrific things. No, I don't. I just say that it's horrific. And that's it. And then we move on. So that's in the podcast. Things will be timestamped in the podcast, as always, so that you can skip past the topics that you might not want to hear. And I give a warning at the top of the podcast tomorrow. And then we also have our members only live tomorrow. It got bumped because of travel this month. So normally the second Wednesday of every month, that's going to be Wednesday. So we've got a lot going on. Joe Jersey, I can't talk about 2024 Dave Matthews tour dates because I'm so fucking salty about them. So when I have some grace and some time to process the fact that Dave is not going to be playing in Charleston this summer, I will be able to talk about it. But I woke up this morning to a whole bunch of text messages and trauma over Dave Matthews Band's summer tour dates. So no, yes, I see that he is going back to Camden. I see that he will be playing Deer Creek, but I am so upset over summer tour dates. I'm so mad. Maybe he is going to Charlotte. No, he's not going to Charlotte either. He's not going to Charleston or Charlotte. So, but he is going to Deer Creek, and that's probably where I'll be. So, tour dates. Look, here's what the tour date is giving. My whole summer's up in the air because of things my kids have going on, and I won't know until like May what my kid is doing for this summer. So my summer is a little bit fucked anyway, but the tour dates in completely miss all of like the West Coast except for Labor Day weekend at the Gorge. So I might Labor Day is so busy. I might have to Labor Day, but it's also the same weekend as a huge legal conference where I get all my CLEs. So I might have to like there's a lot of calendaring that has to happen because of these tour dates. But Dave is not playing any shows in California. So there's going to be a fall tour. So then I have to like decide how I navigate the fact that there will be a fall tour, but we don't have fall tour dates yet. So when I coordinate with the crew, I will let you know. I might come to Virginia Beach. I have considered Virginia Beach. Here's the thing. And then we'll get into actual legal talk. But with concerts, I try so hard if I'm traveling to see Dave to travel for 2-night stands. So when you look at the Gorge, when you look at the tour dates, traveling for a 1-night show can be a little bit more challenging. I really try to travel for 2-night stands, but I have friends and family in Virginia Beach, and it's been quite a while since I've been to Virginia Beach. Went quite a lot as a kid to visit family. So it's definitely on a list, but I have to sit down with my calendar and the tour dates and the crew and plan travel and then make sure I've got VidCon blocked out and a few other things. So no, this is going to be like 2 or 3 days of me with a calendar planning my summer. That's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. So don't worry. I will try to plan some longer meetups around the concerts. I'm going to try to make sure that when I plan to go places that they are not in and outs. This last round of travel was like land in a place at 1 a.m., sleep in a hotel, do a thing for a day, and leave the next day. It was such a quick trip. I had friends messaging me. They're like, "You're in LA." I'm like, "But not really though." Like, honestly, not really though. Like, I know it seems like I'm in LA, but I'm going to this event and that's about it. We need a calendar in the app that we're actually working with, that we're actually working on. So I need to decide if I can go to the Gorge. That also becomes family things. I was just planning on looking at the tour dates this morning and being like, "Oh, this is when I'm going to Charleston." I'm real sad. I'm real sad about it. I have to recover. I've loved going to Charleston these last 2 summers in a way that I cannot accurately put words around because it is such a great venue. It is such a great town. It is at the perfect time early in the tour. I will, no matter what's happening, go to Deer Creek. Deer Creek is close enough to just be like, Deer Creek, here we come. We'll have to do a meetup. Do you think we can make Peter Mon do a meetup? That'd be fun. Okay. I have a delicious coffee. Let me know where you're coming in from, what you're drinking. I can't talk about it. I'm too salty. 5 minutes later, still talking about it. Yep. I am definitely safe with a public calendar with the whereabouts. I will put a calendar for like Lawnard meetups and stuff that's announced publicly. Do not worry. You guys are so protective and I love you. All right. Cheers all. Let me know where you're coming in from, what you're drinking. Hello. Now, okay, I've got a question. In Massachusetts, Bliss, this would be pronounced Worcester. Is this also Worcester? Or do we go with a full like Worcester in the UK? Like I have questions. The Massachusetts folks know what I mean. It was confusing. I still get clocked on not being from Tennessee because I'm not from Tennessee. I'm originally from California. The thing that will clock me every single time is when I tell someone to head down to like the 65. It will clock me every time. I'm on the phone with Judge Abby. Judge Abby is from Tennessee. Judge Abby is a native Tennessean living in California. I am a native Californian living in Tennessee. And so I'll talk to her and I'm like, no, traffic is bad on like the 24. And she's like, you have to fucking stop. She's like, it is I-24. It is I-85 or 65 or what the fuck ever. She's like, every time you say the insert highway name, you just clock yourself as a Californian, because Californians, I think specifically, say the. And it's funny because when I see people doing content around LA and talking about I-405, I'm like, oh, okay. Because in California, it is the. It is a royal the 405, the 10, the 105, the whatever. It's just. So it's funny. I get clocked. I get clocked for that. All right. Slushy Slush Fun said Southern Californians. It's a specific part of California. Look, I love regional quirks. All highways being a the is a regional quirk to Southern California. So it is a whole thing. Bay Area, it's just 880, 680, whatever. Exactly. All right. So with all of that, Miguelina's like, are you ever going to roll the intro? Yeah, I am. NorCal 599. Yeah, no, there's a the. It is a the. It deserves it because look, it is 405 does not convey the pain accurately. It is a whole production. Oh my God. Let's roll the intro. I'll tell you briefly about the Vanderpump Rules premiere, but most of that's going to be for the members only live stream. And then we're going to talk about Donna's day in court. Shall we? Oh, Emily, that's still the podcast intro. Let's do the live stream intro. Cheers.
Hey there, I'm Emily D. Baker, the internet's go-to legal analyst, breaking down the legal side of the pop culture and entertainment stories we can't stop talking about. I'm a big fan of the cursey words. I've been a licensed attorney for over 17 years, but this is not legal advice. This is where the law nerds unite to talk about facts, not... Let's get into it.
I love this. All right. So for those of you that are reality TV fans like I am, the Vanderpump Rules premiere, the show premieres on the 30th. So you guys will get to see it on the 30th. But I went to the premiere in Los Angeles and I was in an Uber with my friend Up and Adam for over an hour to go 8 miles. 8 miles from where I was staying to the Hollywood Palladium. I knew this was going to happen. I just wasn't emotionally prepared for being back in California in that way. I promise I won't spoil Jess at all. There's really no spoilers in that episode at all. To the law nerds that I met there, thank you for saying hello. To the law nerds at Work Production for Bravo, thank you for saying hello. It was so good to see all of you. But I was not emotionally prepared for over an hour to go 8 miles. It's been a while. In Tennessee, things might be further apart, but I get to just drive. And there's trees and shit. And it's pretty. And I get to listen to my music. There is something about that level of traffic that absolutely like eats your soul. And I was not prepared for that. So I was a little salty, but then there was Trey Pass champagne and that made things better. Emily, healthy coping mechanisms. Look, I'm not trying to sit at a premiere dressed up with makeup on eating sliders because you take a bite and everything like falls out the fucking back. Like I looked at the food and I was like, there's no way I can't put this in my mouth elegantly. So I'm just going to drink champagne and have a piece of cake. It was girl dinner. They had birthday cake for Allie and for Katie, and it was funfetti. It was absolutely delicious. I was like, this is lovely. I've had champagne and cake for dinner. What is life? It was a fun night. It was nice to see so many content creators. It was nice to get to catch up with the cast members that I have gotten to know just a little bit. I'm not calling anyone friends. We are acquaintances that recognize one another in public and are pleasant. I had a nice conversation with a lot of the cast. Towards the end of the night, I think because it was a smaller group and they had sold tickets to the public and then they had given out tickets for like friends and family and some content creators and stuff, they had 2 spaces and it was roped off, but the stanchions were low with like movie velvet ropes. It was not like highly like security. And then there was security with different members of the cast and stuff. But somebody was talking to James Kennedy, who's a pretty tall dude, actually. Taller than I anticipated. But in public, I was like, oh, you're actually like a tall dude. There was somebody taking a picture with him and then trying to kiss him on the cheek. And he was so put off by it. He was just like trying to get away. I don't know where his security was at the moment, but he was just like, please don't kiss me. And it was kind of surreal in that way where there were fan interactions in a different way than like a BravoCon, where you're standing in line to do a photo op and it's all very curated. This was a little bit more like fan interactions in the wild after alcohol. And James was just like, please no. And that was kind of funny. So had a really good time. I'll talk more about it on the members only live stream and some of my takeaways from events like that. I don't go to a ton of events like that. It was fun. I had a nice time. It was good to see everybody in the wild, but again, it was an experience. But to everyone who came up and said hello, cheers, I love seeing you. It was really funny because when I'm in pop culture spaces, people don't always expect me to be there. It's out of context because I'm not on a computer screen. And they're like, wait, you're Emily D. Baker. I'm like, I am. And they're like, oh my God, you're like hearing stuff. I'm like, I am. Hi, it's me. So that's always fun. All right. So let's get into Donna Adelson at court, and then we'll get into court documents. And then maybe, just maybe, if you want to, we'll look a little bit at Donna Adelson's arrest. Really just for the schadenfreude of the thing. Like, is there legal commentary to be had? No. The way I was tempted to shout, it's not about the pasta at James Kennedy, but we will talk about this on members only. Members only is this Wednesday evening. So let us head to Tallahassee, Florida, and go to court with Donna Adelson, who's appearing over Zoom. Like, we're making the flight. Donna didn't. Donna's appearing in court via Zoom. So, y'all get your luggage, get your champagne. Let's go. All right, we're going to pop into court with Donna Adelson, coming from WCTV.
Quickly as possible.
Thank you to WCTV. I'm going to make a note that this will clear up in a second, but also this is on mono stereo. I can only hear the court through my left in-ear. So if you cannot hear court, it's probably because of your in-ears. There we go. I think we can see the lawyer better now. And they are waiting for Donna to come on to the court call. They say she's in her Zoom pod in custody. So we're just going to wait for that to start. I should probably let the Instagram folks know that I'm here. This is why I say the app, I don't have to do anything extra. So the app.
I know your client will not be sitting next to you this morning, but I did want to advise you that I am going to be going through the Lazarley factors with her pertaining to waivable conflicts. From there, if there's any further inquiry that you wish me to go through beyond the three factors, you can jump in and let me know.
Okay, what he just said, the judge is going to go through the factors of conflict with her. Donna Adelson. Oh, this is a good point, Indy. I should have rode so far. Donna Adelson is accused of essentially conspiracy to commit murder across a couple counts and aiding and abetting murder for Dan Markel. Her son, Charlie Adelson, has already been convicted of those same counts that she is charged with. She is the former mother-in-law of Dan Markel, who is married to her daughter, Wendy. It is a murder that occurred over 10 years ago. The road to justice has been slow. The thing that Charlie was convicted for was hiring hitmen and having those hitmen carry out the murder on his brother-in-law. Donna Adelson has since been charged Her husband has not yet been charged. Wendy has not yet been charged. We will go over this more. It is a really sad case. And at the end of the day, I am heartbroken for the Markell children who lost their father, Dan, to murder, whose mother has been questioned by the police multiple times and has testified at several of these trials because the hitmen have gone to trial. The middleman has gone to trial. Charlie Adelson, the children's uncle, has gone to trial and been convicted. The grandmother is now going to trial. We'll see if the grandfather ever goes to trial and if the mom ever goes to trial. So these children have a very, very difficult life to walk through, and it breaks my heart that anyone was like, you know what's a good idea? We'll just kill him. It's never a good idea. No. People get divorced. Divorces can be messy. This isn't less messy than a divorce, but I could rant forever. So Donna Adelson is now at the beginning of the process to be prosecuted and has decided that she's going to hire the same attorneys that represented her son. There is a lot of conflict there. Conflict meaning those attorneys, even though the prosecution of Charlie Adelson is complete, those attorneys still owe duties to Charlie Adelson. So if you are the lawyer and you think, hey, the natural argument here is Donna didn't do this, Charlie's been convicted, that dude over there did the killing. If that's going to be your defense strategy, which if you're Donna's attorneys, seems like a decent strategy. I didn't know what my son was up to. My son asked me to do things and I am just, ho-hum, I'm just a little old lady loving mother and I didn't do any of this and I was just my son, whatever. Then if that's your defense strategy, Charlie Adelson's attorneys can't do that because they still owe duties to Charlie Adelson. So the judge is going to have to go through the waivers to say there is a conflict between these attorneys and you. And you're going to have to decide that that's okay. And apparently she thinks this is a good idea. Charlie Adelson was convicted and sentenced to like multiple life terms in prison. I don't know why these are the attorneys she wants to hire, but all right. I mean, all right. It's going to be weird. Like all of this is weird. Kayla asked, how can attorneys ethically accept both clients? Can they get reported? This is why we are going through the waiver. In attorney conflict, and I am not going to get deep into attorney ethics and attorney conflict, there are some conflicts that you can waive, and there are some conflicts that are not waivable. This is a waivable conflict, and they are going to go through all those factors with Donna, and she has to swear and waive the conflict. Meaning, if down the road Donna wants to say, my attorneys didn't do a good job for me because they were Charlie's attorney, it's not going to fly. She has waived the conflict. She can't raise it again. It's not going to be a way that she can appeal her case because her attorneys were conflicted. She's waiving it. She can't bring it up again. She can't complain. You get to choose your own life, boo. This is probably a bad choice. But let's keep compounding bad choices made by Donna Adelson. So there's not much we can say by that except Donna's gonna keep being Donna. B2, thank you for the gifted memberships. Before we hop back to court, I appreciate it. RJ Medic, 5 gifted memberships. Y'all are making it rain memberships today. Tracy, 5 gifted memberships. Monuments of Speculation, thank you for the gifted memberships. Y'all, that's incredibly generous. Thank you. And all the new members, you get what's going to be a very busy members only live this week. Michael, thank you for the 20 gifted memberships. Y'all just making it rain in the chat this morning. Chat, make sure you've got gifted memberships. Turn on like now. All right, let's go back to court. They're going to have Donna swear in and waive the conflict with these attorneys, which is some weird shit to me, but all right, Donna, go off.
I know I can find it.
This is also the same judge that did
Mr.
the
Markell, we haven't started yet. We're
Charlie's
taking a brief
case.
break until the defendant is placed in the Zoom booth, but the hearing is happening.
Thank you. Sorry.
You're fine.
This is
Have a good day. I hear there's storms in Tallahassee.
I don't know if there's any rain today, but think whatever you all have going on in Canada has drifted this way. We'll send it back as quickly as we can.
Well, I'm very fortunate to be in Palm Springs, California, so the weather here is quite good.
The court is talking to the victim's father.
You should come out here and I'll invite
Over
you to
Zoom.
a game of golf. It's beautiful.
We'll get started in a few minutes.
Just general
Okay,
court
thank you.
pleasantries with the victim's father, who has attended all of these court proceedings, who is estranged from his grandchildren because of the Adelson family and everything that has happened, and has been fighting for their rights to see the Markel children. I believe Wendy Adelson has changed their last name back to Adelson. But just for the sake of clarity, when I talk about the victim's children, I will continue to refer to them as the Markel children. But that's...
I think she's going to appear.
He's not on mute on the Zoom, so he's having a conversation with somebody else there. Donna's not in the Zoom booth yet in custody. This is why I like to see what happens in court, even though court is not actively happening. And yes, the Zoom is audio channel left only, chat. I'm sorry. There is nothing I can do to fix that. It is just the way it's being sent out from the news groups that captured the audio. I am working on getting my own, so. Oh, my kid just texted me that he got an 85 on his math test. After having 6 days of snow days. All right. So we're just hanging out waiting for... Thanks, guys, for the congratulations. I appreciate it. He's excited. Math has been busy this year. My kid's a logical thinker. He's like, could I take not advanced math and just do better without trying? And I'm like, challenge your brain, kiddo. I don't really care how great your grades are. I want you to challenge yourself. So he is pushing himself. I saw a question. Why couldn't the DA appear in person? I don't know what their schedules are like, what their courts are like. Oh, not the district attorney, Donna Adelson. It might have been a transport issue. It might have been a transport issue. She might have stuff going on in custody with health that they needed to. There could be a ton of reasons why she's not there in person. So she's appearing via Zoom. They've had weather there. The court just told him to keep something on speed dial. I think it was the jail. But make sure your phone's on mute in court. I love the little colloquial court moments. So it might have been a transport issue.
The first half of 2020 when Mr. Markel, we're not getting started yet. If you can keep yourself on mute.
Okay.
Don't
Thank
get,
you.
sir. Calm down.
For the first half of 2020, this was all we could do in the courtroom. So when we'd have case management, it was a sea of tiles, and it was just nonstop. Yeah, am I on? Have we gotten started? There was a guy who had a cat, and him and the cat were just wrestling basically in the screen for everyone else's entertainment. It's like, what are we doing?
Excuse me, Your Honor. I am not a cat. Oh, there's always a cat on a Zoom call, isn't there? I love this judge.
Oh, yes.
These are the moments in court I very much enjoyed when working in court.
Inmates also figured out how to hack some of the digital courtrooms. So they were
Really?
coming in from the pods. Just well, it helps in some ways, but it's not perfect.
The inmates learn how to hack into some of the digital courtrooms and would just come in from the pods. That's funny. 2020 was a learning experience for court all the way around, but I love the the courts. This is what the workday is like. This is what it would be like in any place that you work, where you just have kind of a little bit of banter with your colleagues. I really appreciate this judge. He's been doing this case forever. So
All right. Looks like the detention facility is finally joining.
that's Donna Adelson. So I love Lawyer Cat too. Lawyer Cat's probably one of my favorite Zoom moments that the pandemic brought us. It was hilarious. But yeah, there's always a cat on Zoom. My cat's tail is in my face
Good morning, Ms.
half the
Adelson. Are you
time.
capable of hearing me?
Yes, I am.
All right. In the courtroom with me this morning is your counsel and also counsel for the state.
McLinda, I
I'm
can
just
turn
going
you
to
down a little.
ask
I'm
at
just
this
yelling.
time for all non-parties to this hearing not to speak or interfere with the business of the court. I'll allow the attorneys to make their appearances at this time.
Sarah Catherine Dugan for the state.
Good morning, Dan Rashbaum on behalf of Mrs. Adelson.
I'll allow both parties to provide any update that they wish, but I did have some matters that I wanted to raise also during this hearing today. Ms. Dugan, concerning discovery that's been turned over to the defense, are there any new or additional matters that have yet not been turned over at this point?
Not that I know of. I know that Mr. Rashbaum had an issue receiving something via OneDrive and was going to get a copy of a hard drive today from our office, so it's ongoing.
All right. Mr. Rauschbaum, with regard to your review of this discovery, obviously you need to get everything the state needs to turn over, but is your review as such where we're going to need another case management in the next few months, or do you think we're in a position to start talking trial dates?
Judge, I think we'd ask for a case management
Trial
sooner,
dates.
maybe in 3 weeks.
I
I
vote
think
trial
we'll have a
dates.
better idea then. The state's been working diligently with us on the discovery, but I think we'll have a better idea in the next 3 weeks or so.
Okay.
Sir, you've already done this trial once. There's not that much additional discovery as to Donna, I'm sure. Let's talk trial dates now. But I think this will probably go to trial this year because we've got attorneys that are intimately familiar with this case. I imagine that that's what we'll see. All right, let's go back to court.
Ms. Adelson, there is a matter that I am going to have to address with you as well concerning conflicts that would be related to your counsel in this representation. I'm going to need to swear you in and take some brief testimony from you, and from there I'll continue with the attorneys. Please raise your right hand, ma'am. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
You can lower your hand. Ms. Adelson, do you understand under the Constitution you have the right to conflict-free representation?
I do.
As it relates to your current attorney, Mr. Rauschbaum, representing you, you understand that he has certain duties as it relates to his prior representation with your son.
Yes, Your Honor. I understand.
You understand his prior duty of confidence that he must maintain under the rules of professional responsibility in some way could affect your representation.
I do, Your Honor.
And do you also understand in deciding whether or not to waive any conflict concerning this matter, you have the right to obtain independent counsel on that matter?
I do, Your Honor.
Have you been able to discuss with independent counsel whether or not you waive any conflicts as it relates to the prior?
For those asking about Donna, this feed does not cut in on Donna's Zoom and show her face. Some other feeds have done it, and we can go to the Court TV feed and see it's in like a very small box. I wanted to hear the whole hearing. And then I have seen others on the internet that look like people recorded the Zoom call, but you're not allowed to do that. So I am not going to show those because it's improperly recorded Zoom calls, and I'm not comfortable or happy that that exists at all because it will get the courts to close down Zoom proceedings for audience members, and I think that that's a bad thing. So we can go to the Court TV one and see if we can see Donna just for this bit, but this was the cleanest feed I saw when I was prepping last night.
Prior representation of your son.
I have, Your Honor.
And are you in fact waiving any such conflicts?
I am, Your Honor.
There is a second issue as well as it relates to the rules of professional responsibility for attorneys. There's another prohibition within them that deals with the matter of an attorney possibly being a witness in a case. I do not know if the state would seek to call your attorney as a witness for any matter. However, you understand an attorney cannot be both advocate and witness in the same case.
I understand that, Your Honor.
Do you understand as well if the state attempted to call your attorney for any reason that could materially affect your defense?
I understand.
Do you also understand you have the right to obtain independent counsel to assist you in making the decision as to whether or not you wish to waive this conflict, or even the potential of conflict, I should say?
Yes, I'm aware of that, Your Honor.
And do you waive this potential conflict as well?
I do.
Mr. Rauschbaum, do you wish there to be any further inquiry as it would pertain to Lazarley versus State?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Adelson. That will conclude all testimony that I will need from you today.
So they swore Donna in to waive the conflict.
Does the
It's been
defense have
waived.
anything that it wishes to raise?
This is a bad idea,
No, Your
Donna.
Honor.
Ms. Dugan, does the state have anything that it wishes to raise?
No, sir.
Very well. So we can settle on another date for case
Looks like the DA
management
doesn't even have the
coming
Zoom up on her.
You were asking for 3 weeks from now, Mr. Rauschbaum?
That would be great, Your Honor, if you could accommodate that. Or somewhere near that.
We'll talk about the attorney as a witness in a minute.
I have case management coming up again on February 12th.
And that's the day they set.
However, that's my normal case management day.
That's what's in
Is
the orders.
this something that we're going to be able to accomplish within the normal time confines, or we're going to need a carved out date? Ms. Dugan?
I don't expect any issue would take more than 10 or 15 minutes, so I think a regular court day would be fine.
Very well. February 12th at 2:30 in the afternoon. We will schedule the next case management date. Ms. Adelson, once again, you will appear by Zoom, but your counsel will be in the courtroom and you will be able to hear him, obviously, in preparation for any court date. Either him or Mr. Morris can visit with you and discuss all pertinent matters. One question that I did have for the defense as well, is there going to be a waiver of speedy trial, or do we know when the 175th day is going to be if we need to start thinking about calendaring a trial?
There's not going to be a waiver yet, Your Honor. I don't know when the 175th day is, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. We're working diligently with the state to try to figure out a trial date.
Oh.
Right. Ms. Dugan, do you wish to be heard as to that issue?
No, sir.
Very well.
It benefits
With
everyone
that
to go to
being
trial
said,
fast
that
in
covers
this.
everything I believe we need to hit for today's hearing. Ms. Adelson, your counsel will be in touch with you to discuss matters before February. I will see you then. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor. It's you.
That brings the hearing to a conclusion this morning. Have a good day, everyone.
So for those asking, can the attorneys see Donna? No, they can't, because the attorneys didn't have computers on their desk and there were no monitors turned out to the courtroom. We can go to the court TV feed real quick so you guys can see a different angle on the hearing from their YouTube channel, and then we will move on to Donna's arrest and then some of the documents in the case, and then we will move on to Idaho. So that's the goal here. So give me 1 second while I go to that feed. But I've got a bunch of questions from y'all that we will get to in a minute. It's an odd choice. I I don't see a tactical advantage to that choice for them. I don't know why they would have picked that. So for those, a lot of you have asked about her attorney being called as a witness. Part of Donna's charges involve any strategy, but in the jail calls, Donna's talking about conversations with lawyers. And if these are the lawyers that she's talking to about fleeing the country and the rest of it, there might be a time when that comes up in trial. So it is not necessarily that the state anticipates that coming up, but they can see an outside possibility where it could come up. And if that attorney can properly be called as a witness because of something Donna said in the recorded jail calls or in some other piece of evidence or in testimony, and we know that her son testified, she might testify in her own behalf. If we see that happen, the attorneys could be called, and then they would either have to bring in another attorney for her, a non-conflicted attorney, or bring in a public defender in the middle of trial, which is a mess. So let me zoom to the court taking the waivers from Donna, because that is the part where she'll be on screen. And let me bump the audio on this, and we'll go to Court TV's feed real quick. Did you guys see that Chanley Painter's last day with Court TV was Friday? It's one of the few things I've seen on the internet. I was like, where's Chanley going? She is the face of Court TV for me, like her and Vinnie Politan. So I was sad to see that. All right. There's a lot going on this screen. So this is why there's a lot going on this feed, but we'll get to see Donna. So let's go to the other angle. Roll the tape.
Or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth.
I do.
You can lower your hand. Ms.
I mean, at least it's on mono, so that's good.
Adelson, do you understand under the Constitution you have the right to conflict-free representation?
I do.
As it relates to your current attorney, Mr. Rauschbaum, representing you, you understand that he has certain duties as it relates to his prior representation with your son.
Yes, Your Honor. I understand.
You understand his prior duty of confidence that he must maintain under the rules of professional responsibility in some way could affect your representation.
Completely different angle.
I do, Your Honor.
And do you also understand in deciding whether or not to waive any conflict concerning this matter, you have the right to obtain independent counsel on that matter?
I do, Your Honor.
Have you been able to discuss with independent counsel whether or not you waive any conflicts as it relates to the prior representation of your son?
I have, Your Honor.
And are you in fact waiving any such conflicts?
I am, Your Honor.
There is a second issue as well as it relates to the rules of professional responsibility for attorneys. There's another prohibition within them that deals with the matter of an attorney possibly being a witness in a case. I do not know if the state would seek to call your attorney as a witness for any matter. However, you understand an attorney cannot be both advocate and witness in the same case.
I understand that, Your Honor.
Do you understand as well if the state attempted to call your attorney for any reason that could materially affect your defense?
I understand.
Do you also understand you have the right to obtain independent counsel to assist you in making the decision as to whether or not you wish to waive this conflict, or even potential of conflict, I should say?
That's a bad
Yes, I'm
idea.
aware of that, Your Honor.
And do you waive this potential conflict as well?
I do.
Mr. Rauschbaum, do you wish there to be any further inquiry as it would pertain to Lazarley versus State?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Adelson. That will conclude all testimony that I will need from you today. Does the defense have anything?
All right. And those were the few brief moments of Donna Adelson on Zoom with the court. We will cover the next hearing on February 12th or the next day. So with all of that, if you are newer to this case, I did not cover it when Charlie was going through trial. There have been multiple trials of the other co-defendants, the two that were the hired gunman, the middleman or the middle woman who arranged between Charlie and the gunman what was going to go down. So those have already happened. These are kind of going up the chain as trials dealing with multiple defendants or drug cases dealing with multiple defendants often do. You get the person like doing the thing at the bottom, and then you work your way up to the decision makers and the shot callers. And that's where they're at now with Donna, believing that she was very much involved with this murder for hire and conspiracy to commit murder of her son-in-law. So we are going to go look at her arrest video. I will answer questions when we get to Q&A at the end of this, but for all of you that are like, this seems like a really bad idea. Yes. Kay said that the hoodie ad covers up the highlighted comments. It shouldn't. When you click it, it should go away. But if it's not going away, we can take a look at that on the YouTube end. When it should disappear. If it's not disappearing, that's a problem. But hiring the attorney that represented your son when your son just recently was convicted seems like you might want to have somebody else take a fresh look at this case, and maybe not someone who's so ingrained in it. So it's an issue. It's an issue. I don't know why she thinks this is a good idea. Such a bad idea. Let's go look at Donna getting arrested, shall we? For those of you that have followed this case for a long time, I'm sure there was a level of, I don't want to say joy, a level of, I know that's right. I don't know what other word to describe it, but a level of, I know that's right. When Donna got arrested, you were just like, I know that's right. Arrest her. So there is longer video. All of the videos I've seen have been edited. I have not endeavored to get the entire body cam footage. Why? Body cam footage makes me motion sick and I don't want to watch it all. But we're going to go to the edited court TV feed because they went ahead and put closed captioning on it. Let's give a little bit of a brief on the story of this footage. And I covered on the podcast the jail call, where Donna is speaking in the background to her husband about their plan to flee and whether or not they can flee. Yes, schadenfreude is absolutely what it is. It is what it is. But it's like, it feels full circle. So Donna's on this jail call with Charlie, and Donna gets disconnected from the jail call. And when Donna gets disconnected from Charlie, she stays on the open line and is chatting with those at her home. I'm going to have to move this so I don't block the... probably like that. So I don't block the feed. That'll probably work. She's talking about whether or not they will have time to either take their own lives or to run. She gets arrested at Miami International Airport trying to flee the country. If you want to watch that whole podcast, I break down the jail call where she's on an open line talking about their plans to flee. Clearly, law enforcement listened to that and kept an eye on flight itineraries and saw that she booked a flight and went and arrested her at the airport before she hopped a flight to Dubai and then hopped a flight to the Philippines. You will see that she is flying Emirates. based on the air crew that is standing by this area, keeping other passengers from entering this space. The Emirates air crew have very distinctive uniforms. I also follow a number of them on social media apps because they talk about their life as Emirates flight crew, and it's fucking fascinating. I love slice of life content. Of course, I love watching the flight attendants talk about being flight attendants. It's amazing. So a lot of Emirates air crew have social media where they share about being Emirates air crew. Did you guys say Vietnam, not the Philippines? I thought she was going to the Philippines. I might have conflated that in my brain. So let's take a look at Donna getting ready to flee the country. Let me make sure I've got this gained up real quick. And let's see. Would they notify airline employees that this was going to happen in advance? They would show up and say that this is happening. They would not notify them much in advance. They would say, this is happening right now. We need you to stand in front of that door. So no, they would not get much advance notice. They would get minimal notice because they don't want the target to know, right? You don't want Donna to know. Let's see. This is going to be better because y'all need to see Donna's face as best you can on this body cam footage that was obtained through Freedom of Information Act. So at this point, they are checking their passports. Law enforcement is there. They are very much near where you would board the aircraft, and they are just now being told you're under arrest for the murder of Dan Markel. That's what's happening.
No, I don't want to give it to you.
Look at her not wanting to give up her cell phone. Look at her. Look at her. She's got her cell phone in her hand. You're under the arrest. And she's like, oi. And then they're trying to get to her cell phone, and she does not want to give up her cell phone at all. Look at her fighting to not give up her cell phone. No.
No, I don't want to give it to you. Why do I have to?
And then her husband is trying to grab the cell phone. Like, her husband's trying to grab the cell phone. She's trying to keep the cell phone away from the officers. And they are still so incredibly, they are still treated with incredible deference and kindness. Incredible deference and kindness. So Mick Ramble said one-way ticket to Vietnam, which the lawyer, Dan Rashbaum, apparently advised them about whether to go or not go, and it's recorded in a jail call. Well, then the lawyer might end up as a witness, and that's going to be part of it. I don't want to give it to you. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't want to give it to you. And you're being arrested for murder, ma'am. What you want is fucking irrelevant in this moment. All right, I'm going to see if I can hang out down here so that you guys can still see. I don't want to give it to you. I'm going to rewind this a couple times because this is the most interesting part of the entire thing, and it goes pretty fast. But just, you're under the arrest, and she's like, throws her hands up, and then they reach for her phone. She's trying to do something on her phone, and they're trying to take it away. They're trying to take it away because they don't want her to wipe her phone. A lot of people will have kind of a kill action on their phone to try to wipe their phone so law enforcement can't get it. So let us continue on.
No, I don't want to give it to you. Why do I have to?
The husband, why does this matter? Why does the phone matter? The officer, this is evidence. Sir, they've now taken your cell phones too. I wonder if those were wiped.
Why do I have to give it to you? This is evidence.
They got the phone.
She's under arrest. I have to go with it. I have to go.
They handed her whole bag to her husband. He's not under arrest, and they go to cuff her behind her back. He's like, I have to go with her. I have to go with her. And they're like, no, sir. No, sir.
Hey, please stop this. You need to grab the bags. Take the bags. Yeah, you need to wait outside. Okay.
My husband's almost 80 years old. He can't come with me.
My husband's almost 80 years old. He can't come with me. You're going to jail. Where would you like him to go? Do you want him to get arrested too? I would have loved if one of the officer was like, would you like us to arrest him too? Would you like us to arrest him as well? So they hand her bag to the husband, and then they let her husband take her jewelry as well. Even after she's fussing with them about the phone, they are incredibly gracious and kind. They let her take off all her jewelry and give it to him, and the rest of it.
Please, can I help? No, you can't join me there. Oh, don't do this, please.
Please.
Oh,
Someone's
God.
got to help him get home. This is terrible.
Someone's got to help him get home. This is terrible. Ma'am, we've heard your jail call where you are planning to either both of you take your lives or run. You knew this was a possibility. It is not the officer's job to make sure your husband gets home.
You can't do this. This is
You knew this was going to happen. You're literally at the airport because you thought they were going to arrest you. You can't do this. This is insane. She's actually very calm. Like, she's saying the words, but there is no level of freaking out with her. She does not seem pressed. She's just like, oh, you can't do this. This is insane. She seemed more upset in court. They knew this was going to happen. Like, she knew this was coming. I think she thought she was going to get away with it. And she's saying the words, but not the words she wants to say. And the words she wants to say is, we were so close. We were so close to getting on that plane.
Is that okay with you?
Please, you don't have to have the handcuffs on. She's not going anywhere. Please. Do you have anything?
Sir, it's too late to beg. It's too late to beg for the officers not to arrest her. It is too late.
no.
Do you have anything on?
They're like, anything in your pockets? And she's like, no. It's ma'am. These are the questions they have to ask.
Value in you.
No,
Plus, you have a necklace on. You
Wanna go?
can take it off. I'll take it.
Yeah, take it off. And the earrings, the rings, take everything.
Not legal advice, but don't try to interact with somebody who's been taken into police custody. For most people, it won't go well. The fact that they're allowing the husband to take off her necklace and take off her rings is largely, I think, due to their age and the fact that Donna is not a very big woman. But there are a lot of sheriffs there, but this is not generally going to go well. Shouldn't they go through her bag? They probably didn't have probable cause to go through her bag, so they can't. The mods will tell you how to turn on gifted membership. It goes through, just look for one of the mod hammers and you will see it. So the officers don't seem deeply concerned about him trying something because there are so many officers in such a small space.
You give it to your husband. Because once you arrive at County Jail, they're gonna make you remove all that.
I mean, yeah, he could have gotten on the flight.
Can I call my attorney?
Not from your cell phone, boo.
You have a passport.
Where am I going?
So
Company.
she's already asking what custody she's going to. Like, there's no crying, there's no freaking out, she's just like, okay, can I call my lawyer? What lockup facility am I going to? She just like defaults into, yeah, we knew this was coming, because she knew this was coming. So could he legally have continued on? Yes. Do I think he would have? No. So to be fair, I need my cell phone. Don't know people's numbers. I don't know people's numbers either. But if you get arrested, what they're not going to do is let you have your cell phone at all.
Where am I going?
For those asking, when should she have stopped talking on the jail calls? She should have stopped talking before she got arrested. Yeah, she knows exactly what's happening. So.
Going to the Dade County Jail.
They come here.
No,
This is right here, the one on 25.
Wait 1 second, please. Please.
I'm sorry. They're arresting you. And he's looking at the phone, his phone, looking at the deputies going, wait 1 second, wait 1 second. And she's trying to arrange who her husband is going to call. Ma'am! Come on. wait one second. Deputies, wait 1 second. And the deputies are incredibly kind. Not all deputies would have been this kind. Some deputies would have been like, the fuck you think you are? Ma'am, I am arresting you for murder. So what we're not going to do is wait 1 second. Okay? What we're going to do is go now. They were tremendously kind.
Okay.
Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second.
You're going to the Dade County jail.
Dade County jail.
Look at these two.
No, this is right here, 145.
Wait 1 second, please. Please. Okay. Do you have any other rings on?
They're telling her to take off all her jewelry and give it to her husband. And she's still like, wait, ma'am. These deputies are very patient, but Donna clearly believes she's still in charge of this situation, even though she's in handcuffs, and is much calmer in handcuffs than most people.
I'm sorry. Remove your earrings so you don't have them.
1 minute.
You take it right.
Oh, it doesn't matter at all that they haven't read her rights at this point. She's under arrest, but they're not there to question her. She's being arrested out of Tallahassee. They're arresting her in Miami so she doesn't get on an airplane and flee. They're going to arrest her, book her, and transport her to Tallahassee. They're not going to interview her at all. These aren't the detectives working the case. So they're not going to Mirandize her because they're not going to ask her questions about the case. They're going to ask her height, weight, medication she's on. If she has any physical ailments that they need to know about when they transport her, but they're not going to question her about the case. This isn't their case. They're literally there as local law enforcement helping out Tallahassee to arrest her so she doesn't bounce the country. So they're not going to question her. That's why they're not giving her Miranda rights. They're just like, ma'am, we just need to put you on a custody bus and get you to the other end of the state. So, could you just make that easier on us? So that's why they haven't Mirandized her.
Yeah, let's go back out and just. You're making a mistake. No mistake.
Harvey, the husband, you're making a mistake. Another mistake. That's 2 mistakes. Sir.
Do me a favor and try to take the ring off. Can you get this off for me? Can you take it off, please, Donna? I don't want to hurt her. Please.
Just a minute, it's getting.
She's trying to take off her rings because law enforcement is letting her take off all her jewelry and give it to her husband.
Listen to me.
Yeah. I'll call.
Get him over.
And
I will.
And she's telling him who she wants him to call and what she wants him to do. Like, she's already making plans. She's already gone into planning mode. She's like, let's do this.
Easy.
I will.
All right.
Yes.
Here, hon.
Is there anything else in her person that she wants?
Oh, well, it's coming, sweetheart. It's coming. Just
All
a
right.
second.
Do you have her driver's license and checks?
I'm sorry?
Her driver's
It's in my
Yeah.
it's in my purse.
Yeah.
How-
Yeah, then you could give it.
Sure.
It's over there.
She knows now.
The possibility.
I don't know if she knew then.
Where is it?
It's in the blue and white. It's in the blue and white.
I'm gonna get her driver's license.
The one deputy that's holding her is like, where is she going? And the other deputy is like, I asked her to get her driver's license.
The license, the address on your license is correct?
M said, shouldn't they Mirandize her in case she starts talking? If she starts talking spontaneously, they're not questioning her, and that's not a problem. They've said you've made a mistake, but they're not going to question her. So no, I don't think there's any point in them Mirandizing her at this point. They need to get her jewelry off and get her into a car.
Yes.
They told her,
She needs all her pills.
sir, there's medical in jail. They will get her pills. You're not sending her into a custody facility with medication. That's not how that works.
When she goes to the jail, they work
They're all in here though.
Yes, they work. If I take them here, what will happen is when you go there, they toss them out. So when you go to there, you will meet the nurse and the doctor, and then they'll work in conjunction with the hospital to get you whatever you need.
They're incredibly patient with her.
Yeah, but I don't have a list with me. I know what they're doing.
Yes.
I have a,
She's complaining about not having a list of her medications.
Is it multiple or is just one or two?
no, there's a bag of medication in here. Is that what you're asking me?
He's not Donna, he's not asking you shit. You're complaining about not being able to take your medication. He's asking you, is it one or two medications? Because you're saying, I don't have a list. And she's like, well, exactly are you asking me? You started asking him, Donna. Were you Googling prisons for rich people? Did they tell you could bring your blood pressure medication? That's not how it works, Donna. And Harvey's still going, can she have her medication? No, she can't. And if she has a condition where she needs regular medication, they will immediately take her to medical. If she were diabetic, for instance, they would immediately take you to medical to make sure that you have insulin. So you're going to have to go to medical, Donna.
No, I know. I was just trying to find out if it was like one or two. Yeah, if it was one or two, then she may be going to take the name down.
He's offering to write down the names of her medications for her. That's what he's doing. And she's like, what are you asking me? And he's like, I'm trying to fucking help, Donna. And the other officer's like, I'm fucking done.
Can I ask you something? Can someone just get my husband outside?
It's not their job to escort your husband out of the airport, Donna. I'm sure he can find his way.
I'll get him.
There's a gentleman here with a system and anyway,
Michael, they would pay for it. Remind me to tell you about the defendant that the sheriffs took into custody. It was a case of mine who had implants that were infected and how they were treating those in custody and the way they were transporting her back and forth to court because of said infected implants. It's a whole ass trip. Okay. Let's continue. They're indicating who's going to help Harvey get back to his car. Because apparently the sheriffs are his personal valet.
I have the ring. Hold on.
And sometimes law enforcement will help family if you've been in a car accident. Law enforcement will sometimes help people get home and things like that. You getting arrested for murder is a very different situation where law enforcement is not there to Sherpa your husband out of the airport. I'm pretty sure the airport has signs on how to get out.
Let me have them, please. No, I'll speak to
Okay.
So we don't have the meds, honey, they're all in here.
And now she gets perp walked past all the other passengers.
One moment.
Oh, they cut it. She gets perp walked through the entire freaking airport. It is a large airport. She gets perp walked through the entire airport with her hands behind her back. They put her in a car and they transport her. There's not much that goes on once she's transported. They put her in the vehicle. She asks for water. She talks about it being hot in the vehicle. And they say there's not much they can do about it because the partition, the spit guard, the partition keeps the AC from getting into the back. It probably is hot in the back of the car in Miami in the rain, but I mean, it is what it is.
Thank you.
And then they leave her there till a female officer comes and searches her. So, all right. That's about it. There's not much else. Okay, I'll admit it. The full-on perp walk is satisfying in context. Hold on. Let me go to the longer the longer version of this from a different network because she does get perp walked through the entire airport. Let me see if I can find it quickly. Let's see. Oh, and then because I'm surprised that Court TV cut out so much of the perp walk. Law and Crime left in quite a bit more of the perp walk. So we're gonna zoom through Law and Crimes as well real quick. So let us do that. This is law enforcement. This is helpful context. This is law enforcement walking up to Donna with their body cams on because it seems like airport personnel had stopped and was checking her passport and stuff. And then you have one of the flight crew from Emirates standing there before law enforcement shows up on scene. So this gives us the very beginning of the incident. So you can see Donna and Harvey standing there. You can see that there's probably undercover officers or officers that work at the airport. Most airports have their own officers that work just the airport. And then you've got Emirates flight crew there as well. They've pulled her to the side of the boarding area and are checking her passport. You can see the gentleman in the blue shirt has the passport in hand and is literally pointing at her. That one. That's her. That one. He's undercover because he's got his badge lanyard. I don't know if the others are undercover or airport, but you can see them holding Donna's passport. Donna's looking at the dude in the orange and is not looking at law enforcement walking up at all. And then you can see that he's got the chain for his undercover, for his badge that's under his shirt. And then it sounds to me like he leans to the flight crew and tells her to move away to the side a little bit because you never know. FBI, that makes sense. Because you never know if somebody's going to cause a ruckus. So then moves the flight crew out of the way a little bit as local law enforcement come to cuff her. So you can see the ball. I don't even know what those kind of chains are called with the little balls on them, but that's very typical of law enforcement. And that's when he says you're under arrest for the murder of Dan Markell, and her eyes go like this. It's like, woof. Her eyes get huge. This is a much better angle of fighting over the phone. Hold on. I'm going to make myself, nope. I'm going to make myself smaller. Make me smaller so you guys can see the fighting over the phone a little bit better because it's spicy. Hold on. Take a look at how mad she is.
No, I don't want to give it to you. Why do I have?
This is much clearer video. The sound is atrocious, but the video is clearer. So between the two, we've definitely done a good job. But the video is much clearer.
No, I don't want to give it to you. Why do I have to? Because my attorney says.
Harvey, I don't want to give it to you. No shit, sir. They've taken all your computers now too, based on the last documents I saw.
No, I don't want to give it to you. Why do I have to? Because my attorney says not to. Why do I have to give it to you? This is evidence.
And then they're moving in to do all the arrest stuff, to take the phone, to take the bag, and do the rest of it.
I have to go with it. I have to go. Let me help you out. No, I have to stay.
All right, the video is much more clear. We're going to zoom to her getting walked right out of there. And then we will move on to documents for the day. Emirates flight crew is still standing by. I told you they are basically in a boarding area. This is this is the body cam behind the officer we were watching. The officer that you see right in front here was the body cam that we were just watching. This is a different angle on it. And that is everyone waiting to board this flight. Standing right there at the airport as somebody's getting arrested. And the Emirates flight crew blocking or standing by the elevator.
Yeah.
And they're negotiating which way to take her out.
Go back out and just.
You're making a mistake. Okay, so not a mistake. There's two mistakes.
And try to take the remote. If we can get this off for me.
She did say something about her attorney, B2. I absolutely heard that. The audio is not super clear, and I would have to go back a couple times, but she's definitely mad.
Can you take it off, please, Donna? I don't want to hurt her. Please.
This is them getting her jewelry off. Let's get to her perp walk out of here.
To the hospital to get you whatever you need.
Yeah, but I don't have a list with me. I know
This
what's
is a conversation about her medication. More conversation about her medication. The sound is appalling. I'm going to turn this volume down. It's a lot of airport noise. It's not the way Donna thought she was going to go through this airport, is it? And then it takes them like 10 minutes to walk through this airport. All right, y'all. And then they go put her in the car. Watching body cam of people watching always makes me a little motiony, so I'm not going to do it. It is a very, very long walk through a very large airport. So could the hubby be charged for helping her to flee? I don't know what they're going to do. The elevator doors lead to the plane. It looks like that's how it was set up. I'm surprised that her baggage was given to Harvey. They did not check her carry-on at all. They got her phone, they got her ID, and that was it. So she's just like just doing that. Kristen, no, my attorney said not to. It would be interesting to see if her attorney said not to give the police her phone, but I wonder if her attorney said don't volunteer your phone if they ask, can we have your phone? When you're being arrested, you don't really have much of a choice. They confiscated her phone and then they had a search warrant to search the phone. They can't just look through it, but they had a search warrant to do it. So that's it. Bye, Donna. That's Donna's perp walk through Miami International Airport late at night. So with all of that, we're going to get to some of the more recent documents in that case, and then we'll move on and talk about what's going on in Idaho, if that sounds good to you all. Love the walk of shame. Least she deserves. I mean, she definitely wasn't thrilled about being perp walked through the airport. So does the rest of the luggage go on without them? I imagine, Tammy, that the airline, because they were given a heads up that people on the flight, this is, again, speculation. I imagine that the airline would have pulled their luggage when given the heads up that two passengers were being arrested. I don't think that the airline would have let the luggage go on ahead. I don't know how much that would have delayed travel, but I believe there's TSA policies about luggage traveling without passengers. That becomes a security issue. So Nico said the same thing in the chat. Luggage has to be removed when passenger is removed, security issue. Yep. So if she doesn't give the phone code, they will use other means. Yep. They will crack into the phone. So, but I imagine the luggage would absolutely be pulled. So Donna. Oh boy. All right, let us go to documents real quick, and then we'll go to Idaho, and then we'll go to questions. You guys have a ton of questions, so we'll do it. We'll do it in just a minute. Where is my Emily? Are you all the way prepared? I mean, kinda. My brain is still traveling. I'm just like, Virginia said, what about when you go to Charleston and your luggage goes to Charlotte? So my luggage on that trip never made it to Charlotte because my connection through Atlanta was so tight. So my luggage ended up staying in Atlanta when I went to Charlotte. And so instead of sending my luggage to Charlotte, Delta just sent my luggage to Charleston instead. So I was able to meet my luggage in Charleston instead of Charlotte because my luggage had stayed in Atlanta. And Delta had offered to fly me from Charlotte to Atlanta, Atlanta to Charleston. And I was like, well, that seems silly. So I'll just go to, I'll just drive from Charlotte to Charleston and pick up my luggage in the morning. And that's what I ended up doing. And it worked out. I mean, it worked out fine enough. So let's see. I'm going to look at this discovery that was turned over. And then we're going to look at just the court notes from that last hearing, just to give the inside look at court. And then we're going to move on. So, all right. Exhibits, continuum leasing documents. I'm wondering what continuum leases, but that was turned over by the prosecution to the defense just recently. So I don't know if this is where they were leasing their home, if this is a second location, but they were leasing that. Let's see. And then these are the notes of the last court hearing, just real briefly. This is literally the court note sheet, which is so funny that courts feel so formal, and these are the note sheets in most courts. Clerk's court worksheet, which party is here? How did the defendant appear via Zoom? Defendant to appear via Zoom again. Next date, this says 12/12 at 2:30. And then I believe it might have gotten moved to the 20th. Conflict waived pertaining attorney. And that's it. That's the minute order. That's all. That's the end. So with all of that, there's not much else going on in this case until the next hearing. It looks like the next hearing is for 12/12 at 2:30. We will cover the next hearing. Then we should have a trial date probably sometime this year, I would imagine, maybe at the end of the year. And then as they get into discovery, we might see some more court dates. But the next CMC date will kind of set the mood for how this is going forward. And then that's it. Then it will go to trial. So yay, yay, Adelson. For all of you that are now invested in the Adelson case, well, welcome. For those of you that have been asking me to cover this case, 212, sorry, I meant 212. I did mean 212. For those of you that were invested in this case when Charlie went to trial and were like, Emily, please cover this. And I'm like, we're full and this case is like at completion. And then it wasn't. You're also welcome. Here we are now. We'll get there eventually. Let's go look at the updates in Idaho, and then I'll answer your questions. I see a lot of Rust questions. Save those for Q&A. We can talk about Rust when we get to Q&A. There's a short up on the Shorts channel about Rust, and there's not a ton of information, but I see your question, so we'll do that. Angela's like, I'm highly invested in this case. I'm invested in this case too. I mean, I saw that Charlie was going to trial. I had seen that the kind of the gunmen and the middlemen had all gone to trial and pled and whatever. And I was like, okay. And then when Donna got arrested, I was like, shut the front door. All right, we're in. We're in at the beginning. We're in now. Let's go. Let's go to Idaho. Should we buckle up on the plane or should we swoop? No, let's get our miles in. Speaking of getting our miles in, I was trying to do my Ring in the New Year challenge with my Apple Watch while I was traveling because it's always a good time. Always lots of steps to be had when I'm like, where I live in Middle Tennessee is not walkable. You can go for a walk, but you cannot walk where I live to Starbucks or whatever. So when I travel, it tends to be a little bit more walkable where I'm staying. So I knew that I would be able to get my Ring in the New Year challenge. But my watch had needed to be charged one of the days I was traveling. And so I had missed a couple of my like exercise minutes, because you've got to close all 3 rings for 7 days in a row. So I tried to change my phone to a different time zone, because I noticed this error slightly past midnight, and I was like, oh, I'll just change my phone, right? I'll just change my phone to Hawaii. It'll be fine. I'll get my last like 3 minutes of exercise in, close all 3 rings, and it'll be fine. So I did that. It seems like it works. The next morning, it had defaulted back. So Apple is like, we're onto your shit. And no, that's not happening. Like, we're onto your shit and that's not happening. So now I'm in the middle of, I was on day 6. So now I'm in the middle of my new Ring in the New Year challenge, trying to get my miles in, day in and day out. And I'm like, I fucked it up on day 6. I was so mad. I was like, I'm so close. I've had my Ring in the New Year challenge completed since like 2018 or whatever. So, Apple was like, it's not happening. It's not happening. So let's go look at what's going on in Idaho. Here's my frustration with Idaho. All right. Everything is under seal right now. So we're going to go through the docket and talk about what's happening, even though a ton of shit is under seal, because goddamn, so much is under seal. We might need a frequent flyer program. I don't know how we're going to accommodate that. I want to put it in the app. I want to figure it out. The app developers are going to be like, I'm sorry, you need a what now? You want a frequent flyer program? Yes. And we'll just judge it by like time that you watch and trips that we take. I don't know. All right. So we've got, from the end of November we covered, but all through December, all kinds of things happening under seal. So this is one of the things we need to take a look at. Again, this is the public docket that we're taking a look at. Order denying motion to dismiss indictment for inaccurate instructions to grand jury. We have not covered this yet. So let's cover this court order real quick. I mentioned the court order happened, but I have not covered it. And then we're going to get into what's coming Friday for Idaho. I figure it was time to get all caught up before we were back in court together on Friday in Idaho, where there's probably still snow. Today, the rain washed away most of the snow in my area in Middle Tennessee. And tomorrow it's going to be 60 degrees. It was like 2 degrees a couple days ago, and then it's going to be 60. The weather keeps you guessing, and you're not going to be bored. So we're going to get back to severe thunderstorms quickly. All right. This decision, this is the court's order. This decision addresses defendant's motion to dismiss the indictment for inaccurate instructions to the grand jury. The question of law posed to the court is whether the standard of proof for a grand jury to justify the indictment is probable cause or beyond a reasonable doubt. For all of you that need a quick road so far, remember that the defense was arguing that, like, under the Magna Carta and the field codes in California, that sometime in 1770 something, that at one point the grand jury said jury and the jury standard is beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you remember the history lesson that we got? It was written like a dissertation on the history of all law. And then the judge was like, boo-boo, no. But Judge was gleeful at the hearing, asking questions to the attorney about all these standards. You could see the like legal nerd grinning from the judge, and he's like, what about this? And what about that? We're all traumatized. It was a novel argument, like, you're doing the most, but a capital murder case is the time to do the most. And so here we are. Based on history, all of the history. Case law and Idaho criminal rules, specifically Rules 6 through 6.8 ICR. The standard of proof for a grand jury to indict is probable cause, therefore the motion is denied. Look at how quickly the judge summarized that and put in the based on history. Thank you, Your Honor. Judge is like, Erica in the chat is saying hello from Tallahassee. Erica, thank you for having us. We had a very nice stopover in Tallahassee this morning. It was lovely. Procedural background. Here's the history. Defendant Kohberger filed on July 25th, 2023, a motion to dismiss indictment on grounds, I can't say it normally anymore, on grounds of error in grand jury instructions or in the alternative remand for the preliminary hearing. The defense argues that the grand jury indictment was flawed because the grand jury was instructed wrongfully that the standard of proof to justify an indictment was probable cause instead of the higher standard of beyond a reasonable doubt, which doesn't even logically make sense in my head given the stage of the proceedings. Beyond a reasonable doubt is a trial standard, but I'm a former prosecutor and I digress. Kohberger's claim is based on supposed, I inserted that, legislative history and interpretation of the Idaho Constitution and statutes. The question of whether the standard of proof to reach an indictment is probable cause or beyond a reasonable doubt is one of law, which means it is for the judge to settle. Kohberger's motion included briefing. The state filed an objection supported by brief, and Kohberger provided a reply to the state's objection also with briefing. A hearing was held on October 26, 2023. Kohberger was represented by Ann Taylor, Jay Longston, and Eliza Mosoth. The state was represented by Bill Thompson, Santa prosecutor, Ashley Jennings, Jeff Nye, not Bill Nye, I'm going to get confused, and Ingrid Beatty. This hearing was open to the public and media cameras. Yes. At the conclusion of the hearing, the court informed counsel with brief explanation that the motion would be denied, and this written opinion would follow. We watched the hearing in October. We did not get to the written opinion. To avoid confusion, well, thank you, Judge. Thank you, Judge. It is important to know that on the same day, there was also a hearing on Kohberger's sealed motion to dismiss the indictment based on other grand jury issues. All counsel named above were also involved in this hearing. Because the arguments centered on the grand jury's secret procedures, this hearing was closed to the public. Likewise, the written decision will be separate from this decision and will be sealed. There is so much of this case going on that is sealed, it is frustrating. The results, however, will be public. In order for the court to assess the arguments in both motions, the court needed to have access to the grand jury procedures and evidence. To accommodate that need, the state submitted a motion to take judicial notice of the grand jury record. Without objection, the court, as requested by the state, takes judicial notice under Rule 201C2 IRE, Idaho Rules of Evidence, of the grand jury transcripts, audio recordings, exhibits, jury instructions, and jury questionnaires. The state has provided this same information to defense counsel. Analysis. Judge. A reasonable reading of IC 19-1107 does not require a standard of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, and Idaho case law and criminal rule 6.5 clearly establish a standard of proof of probable cause for a grand jury from the indictment. It's a little bit of a reasonable interpretation. It's like, counsel, don't hurt yourself stretching to make this standard beyond a reasonable doubt. Don't wear out your shoulders. That's funny. Kohberger claims that the standard of proof for a grand jury to return an indictment is beyond a reasonable doubt. And because the grand jury in this case was instructed that the standard of proof was probable cause and found that the probable cause to return an indictment, Kohberger argues the indictment must be dismissed. The state disputes Kohberger's argument and asserts that probable cause for an indictment is settled law in Idaho. Ding, ding, ding. There is no dispute that in this case, the standard applied by the grand jury to justify the indictment was probable cause. And then it goes through all of Kohberger's arguments and then the defense arguments, and it goes through the American Heritage Dictionaries. It goes through Black's Law. Do we get to the Magna Carta? Is the Magna Carta cited anywhere in here? A grand jury is not a trial jury. It's a function to screen whether or not there is sufficient evidence to proceed to trial. Just like a preliminary hearing. The grand jury is baked into our United States Constitution, Fifth Amendment. quote, no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury. And our Idaho Constitution and the procedures of the grand jury have evolved over the years. In 1956, Justice Black in Costello versus United States provides some early history of the grand jury. Thanks, Your Honor, for the history from our founders. The Fifth Amendment provides that federal prosecutions for capital or otherwise infamous crimes must be instituted by presentments or indictments of grand juries, but neither the Fifth Amendment nor any other constitutional provision prescribes the kind of evidence upon which grand juries must act. The grand jury is an English institution brought to this country by the early colonists and incorporated into the Constitution by the founders. The basic purpose, when we go back to English law to figure things out, we're going all the way back in our system. The basic purpose of the English grand jury was to provide a fair method for instituting criminal proceedings against persons believed to have committed crimes. Grand jurors were selected from the body of the public, and their work was not hampered by rigid procedural or evidentiary rules. In this country, as in England of old, the grand jury has convened a body of laymen free from technical rules, acting in secret, pledged to indict no one because of prejudice and to free no one because of special favor. If indictments were to be held open to challenge on the ground that there was inadequate or incomplete evidence before the grand jury, the resulting delay would be great indeed. The result of such rule would be that before trial on the merits, a defendant could always insist on a kind of preliminary trial to determine the competency and adequacy of the evidence before the grand jury. This is not required by the Fifth Amendment. An indictment returned by a legally constituted and unbiased grand jury, like an information drawn by the prosecutor, if valid on its face, is enough to call for trial on the merits. The Fifth Amendment requires nothing more. Okay, so basically, you can't just hold people forever and take them to trial without showing that they are likely the person that did the thing. You have to have some reason to hold them over for trial. And either a grand jury indictment or a preliminary hearing complaint will determine by probable cause that this person probably did that thing. That's it. Did this person probably do that thing? Did a crime happen? Is this person probably that person? And then we go to trial and determine if they did it beyond a reasonable doubt. But you don't have to do that at the beginning, and that is what this says. In a trial on the merits, defendants are entitled to strict observance of all rules designed to bring about a fair verdict. Defendants are not entitled, however, to a rule which would result in an interminable delay, but add nothing to the assurance of a fair trial. So the court also went back to the old Lordy law, the law, and back to the Idaho Constitutional Convention in 1889. Everybody is happy for the history lesson. It's still going. It's still going. In reviewing the propriety of the grand jury proceeding, the appellate court first looks at whether, independent of any inadmissible evidence, the grand jury receive legally sufficient evidence to support a finding of probable cause. This court, good. Let's see what this court decided. This court has also reviewed 3 decisions from 3 separate district judges that address similar or identical arguments from defendants claiming the standard of proof is beyond a reasonable doubt. Oh, this is a thing that's happening in Idaho. We talked about this. Often when there is a motion on a particular or novel argument, the defense attorneys in that area are challenging that area of law across the state. So you will see almost the exact same motion duplicated by defense attorneys where grand juries are used across the state. So judges will be addressing this, and they will absolutely talk to each other about addressing this. So this is playing out in courts across Idaho. These decisions were attached as exhibits to the state's objection. Their results were the same as this one. The standard of proof for a grand jury to find an indictment is probable cause. And then they go back through the settled case law. This is a lot of writing for settled case law. Let's see. Conclusion. The arguments from the defense for beyond a reasonable doubt standard for a grand jury were historically interesting and creative. Oh, Judge, like, I'm delighted. I'm delighted by this, like, scholarly legal exercise. I'm delighted by this exploration into the foundations of law. I'm delighted in how they did it in England and what happened in 1889. I am simply charmed, but no. I'm charmed, but no. Were historically interesting and creative, but do not overturn Idaho court's interpretation of the statute, the case law, and the criminal rules, specifically Rules 6 through 6.8. The standard for a grand jury to indict is probable cause. Therefore, the court denies Kohberger's motion to dismiss the indictment based on his claim of inaccurate instructions to the grand jury in order to warrant an indictment. And that was December 15th. He's charmed. He's like, this was so fun. Thank you. Thank you for the exercise. I bet Judge was on law review and loves this shit. Judge seems like he was delighted by the intellectual gymnastics of the entire thing. But at the end of the day, the result is no. It's like, this was fun. This was great, but you're wrong. And I love that. So, all right. I see all the birthday wishes in the chat for, wait, where are we? Happy birthday to all the birthdays. Mine was Sunday. Sending love. Happy birthday, Melissa. Atlas has a birthday. Happy birthday, Atlas. I see all of the birthday chats. Happy birthlet. Happy birthlet. Happy birthday. I don't know what word my brain was doing. I love this. Happiest birthday, Atlas. Thank you, chat, for all of the happy birthdays. Let's go to what happens next in Idaho. Order taking judicial notice redacted. Public order denying motion to dismiss on grounds of inadmissible evidence. We have not seen this one. This is the public result on the other motion that was argued under seal. So let's take a look. Public order. I love that the court has made sure that everybody knows that this is the one that is for public consumption. Public order denying motion to dismiss indictment on grounds of biased grand jury, inadmissible evidence, lack of sufficient evidence, and prosecutorial misconduct. On August 23rd, Kohberger filed a motion to dismiss the indictment on grounds of everything I just said. On September 14th, the state filed an objection. On September 20th, Kohberger filed a reply. These were all under seal. A hearing on the motion was held October 26th. Kohberger was present with all the attorneys. The hearing was closed to the public and media cameras to protect the secrecy of grand jury proceedings. The decision will also be sealed. However, the results of the decision are addressed in this public order for the public's benefit. Thanks, Judge. Kohberger has failed to successfully challenge the indictments on grounds of juror bias, lack of sufficient admissible evidence, or prosecutorial misconduct. Kohberger was indicted by an impartial grand jury who had sufficient admissible evidence to find probable cause to believe that Kohberger committed the crimes alleged by the state. Further, the state did not engage in prosecutorial misconduct in presenting their case to the jury. While I'm frustrated with how much is under seal, I do appreciate that Judge said we need to tell the public what happened. We don't need to tell the public all of the grounds of what happened, but we need to tell the public what happened. And what happened is there was not prosecutorial misconduct. There is sufficient evidence to hold him essentially to answer beyond to go to trial and find that there's probable cause to believe he's the person that did the things, and that there was no bias in this grand jury. And that answers the main questions. So basically, and we're done. Continuing on down the docket, motion for scheduling order, motion to seal defendants, motion for interlocutory appeal, order sealing defendants, motion for interlocutory appeal. And we're not going to know what's going on beyond this because all of this is sealed. All of this is sealed. Is it customary for counsel to stand when speaking with the judge? It depends, Cindy. It very much depends by court and by it very much depends by court, by jurisdiction, by procedure. In a trial like the Darrell Brooks trial, where Darrell Brooks was representing himself and was not allowed to stand, all the attorneys stayed sitting, so it wasn't so obvious that he was the only one sitting. It really, 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 really depends. So no, in every jurisdiction, it is not customary to always stand. It will vary greatly. Motion to seal defendant's motion for interlocutory appeal. Comes now, defendant through his attorneys and moves the court for an order to seal defendant's motion to reconsider orders denying motions to dismiss indictment, and in the alternative for permission to appeal from interlocutory orders and stay proceedings filed with the court December 21st. So the defendant is trying to move for more appeals against the orders that we just read, but those are all sealed, and the court has granted them. Order sealing hearings on defendant's motion to reconsider. That was all sealed. The media requests have been denied. Amended order governing the courthouse and courtroom conduct. In Idaho, the media cameras have all been yeeted, and the court cameras are all that will rule. So this is going to be streamed to the court's YouTube channel on Friday, and we're going to cover it here from the court's YouTube channel. We're going to see how it goes. Who knows? Who knows what that's going to bring? We're going to all find out together. Good luck for us. But if it goes badly, there's no backup, because there's not going to be any media cameras in the courtroom to record it and release it later. No backup at all. Julia, we went over the amended courtroom conduct order because the court decided to remove all of the media cameras and use the court's cameras only. All right, let's get back into this. So we went over that when that came out at the beginning of the month, I believe. I went over it in one of our last streams. This month has gone by too fast. So this just basically covers that the court will do it themselves and how the seating will work, and where is it? Coverage. No video recording, still photography, or audio recording is permitted by members of the media or the public as ordered by the court in the November 17th order denying the second motion to intervene. A live stream of the proceedings will be provided by the court and available in real time on the court's YouTube page. And then it lists the court's YouTube page. And that's what we'll be doing. We'll be streaming it from the court's YouTube page. I think it will work. The judge YouTube channel worked really well at Lori Vallow's sentencing hearing and Chad Daybell's recent hearing. I hope it will work. I really hope it will work. And I'm optimistic other courts will go that way too. And then the media won't pick and choose. Courts can just be like, we're putting it all on YouTube. Good. Let it be available for the public. And then no one can intervene. And then you don't have the public cramming Zoom calls. The last Zoom hearing or call-in hearing for Ruby Frankie, the whole system crashed, and the court never ever made it live so you could hear the hearing because there were just too many people interceding. In a recent hearing in the Karen Reed case, people were yelling things out over Zoom. I think there's room to deny the public access to Zoom if you are making the hearings available on the court's own website, and then you don't have interruptions. So I think it's a good direction to go in, and I'm optimistic that it will work well. Motion to temporarily seal objection. Temporary order sealing objection to defendant's motion. That's the prosecution's response to the interlocutory motion. Request for discovery. Stipulated motion to file Exhibit J attached to defendant's supplemental request under seal. Public order for disclosure of IGG information. So this is the most recent court order that we have not covered. Public information for disclosure of IGG information. This is one of the motions regarding DNA that was still circulating. Not all of this is public either. On October 25th, the court issued an order addressing IGG DNA and an order for an in-camera review that addressed the state's motion to prevent the disclosure of the investigative genetic genealogy, the IGG information. This is familial DNA. To the defense and the defense motion to compel the discovery. On November 30th, the state submitted into the court in camera all the IGG information pertaining to the state's investigation from both the FBI and a private lab. The court has now completed its review of the information provided by the state and orders the state to discover to the defense a portion of the IGG information. The specific material to be provided is set forth in a sealed order to protect the privacy of the IgG information, including individuals on the family tree. So this is familial DNA and what needs to be turned over and what doesn't. And that's going to be turned over to the defense. That was dated January 24th. We don't have more information than that. Why? Because it's sealed. No, that wasn't dated the 24th. That was dated January 11th, 2024. Motion to unseal defendant's motion to reconsider. Do we know what's going on in this case? Not really. Why? Because it's fucking sealed. For crying out loud, this is a great question. Will all this be released publicly post-trial? Yes, in theory. Yes, in theory. It should be. This is the defense motion. Motion to unseal defendant's motion to reconsider orders denying motion to unseal defendant's motion to reconsider orders denying motions to dismiss the indictment and in the alternative for permission to appeal from interlocutory orders. That's a lot. Comes now defendant through the attorneys and moves the court for an order to unseal the defendant's motion to reconsider the orders denying the motion to dismiss, or in the alternative, permission to file an interlocutory appeal. The defense's motion was filed December 21st. The state's objection was filed on January 5th. This motion is made on the grounds that the pleadings and hearing therein do not need to be sealed. Previous motions related to grand jury proceedings were properly sealed pursuant to Idaho Civil Rules 32, Idaho Criminal Rule 6 in the court's order. The pending proceedings brought by motion and supported by pleadings do not meet the language of the rule. The issues for the court to decide are procedural and legal and do not delve into areas covered by the rule and order. Kohberger sought sealing of his filings solely based on email communications with the prosecutor's office stating they wanted the filings to be sealed. Really? The deadline for Mr. Kohberger's motion was imminent. Thus, in an abundance of caution, the defense filed a motion to seal. Counsel for Kohberger informed the prosecution that a motion to unseal was forthcoming. Mr. Kohberger moves the court to unseal the proceedings and filings on the basis that these filings and proceedings are not covered by Rule 32. Kohberger acknowledges the right of the public to be fully informed on the issues. Kohberger has a right for the rule to apply as it is written, rather than disadvantage him with items remaining sealed that are not within the scope of the rule. So, the defense wants their motion unsealed. The prosecution wants it to remain sealed. That is weird to me. Let's keep going. So that's the motion to unseal the motion. Motion to seal defendant's reply to state's objection to defendant's motion. Let me close these. All right. Motion to seal defendant's reply to the state's objection to defendant's motion for interlocutory. So even after they filed the motion to unseal, they still filed a motion to seal the reply. Why? Kohberger is asking the court to seal the defendant's reply to the state's objection. But why? You just asked for everything to be unsealed 5 days ago. And then it was sealed. Motion to seal the state's memorandum. What are you all doing? Why is everything sealed? The defense asked for it to be unsealed and then filed another motion to seal. Motion to seal state's memorandum in support of its objection to defendant's motion to seal. What? Comes now the state through the prosecutors and requests the court to seal its memorandum in support of its objection to defendant's motion to seal as it addresses substantive matters of the grand jury exempt from disclosure under Idaho court rules. Then why are you objecting? I'm so confused. Hold on. By the way, Thrive, who is a sponsor of the podcast, has new lipsticks, and you can't pull the lipstick out of the cap. It has a push button and it drops the lipstick out of the cap, and I am charmed by it. I am amused. So the prosecution has made an objection to the defense motion to seal and has asked for that to be under seal. Every time Emily says comes now, I think of Ian and what he says. I don't know what he says, but I think of it being the name of a very smutty book series about judges. Somebody write it. Somebody write comes now. You are amused while we are confused. I'm confused too, but I'm entertained by this. I am very entertained. It is a weapon. Oh no, don't do that towards the computer screen. Stop it, Emily, stop it. Put it down. I've had lipsticks ruined after opening in my purse. Exactly. It's so easy. I love clever makeup. Okay. Okay. Let's continue on. Julia's like, I've got you. The defense didn't discuss the grand jury. They went with the legal arguments. In response, the state talked about grand jury matters, so it has to be sealed. Possibly. What color? Hold on. Let me show my age. Do I have enough light to see this? Not really. Why is it all so small? I think it says Eileen. I think that's what it says. I think that's what it says. I would have to look online, but it is a lovely kind of neutral. The other one I wore one in the podcast yesterday, and this one is Maya, but I would have to go online. I'll go online and look at the end during Q&A and answer you, because I can't read it very well. Because I hit 45 and I need 7 pairs of glasses. That's what I'm thinking. That's what it is. It's time for something. It's time to go to the eye doctor, honestly. There's a list of doctor's appointments I've been needing to make, but calendaring is my enemy. So it just is. Okay. So we've got the defense sealed motion, the defense arguing to unseal their motion, the prosecution objecting to the defense sealed motion, but then the prosecution filing their motions also under seal. Motion to seal defendant's reply to the state's objection to defendant's motion to unseal. Motion to seal state's memorandum and objection to defendant's motion to unseal. So now the state is objecting to the motion to unseal. Like, what? What? What is the prosecution worried about? Tell me, prosecutors. Comes now the state of Idaho and objects to the defendant's motion to unseal. In supporting its objection, the state has submitted a memorandum objecting to the defendant's motion. The state has filed this memorandum under seal as it addresses substantive matters of the grand jury exempt from disclosure. Amended motion to temporarily seal state's memorandum. Everything is under seal. Everything is under seal. Comes now the state of Idaho and respectfully requests the court seal its memorandum in support of its objection to the defendant's motion to unseal as it addresses substantive matters of the grand jury. And then an order. Sealing everything. So all of the litigation going on based on the court's denial of the motions is all under seal. Based upon the state's motion to seal, based on the state's motion to seal the state's memorandum in support of its objection to defendant's motion to seal, and no objection from defense counsel, the court does hereby confirm and order that the state's memorandum in support of its objection to defendant's motion to seal is exempt from disclosure and are sealed. There is so much litigation happening in this case that we just cannot see. That we just can't see. So the next hearing, let's go to let's see where the order setting hearing. This hearing is on Friday, and we'll see what happens. Order setting hearings on defendant's motion to reconsider and for permission to appeal. Based on the state's motion for scheduling order, filed December 21st, the defendant's sealed motion to reconsider orders denying motions to dismiss, and in the alternative, permission to appeal from interlocutory orders and stay proceedings filed on December 21st, the court orders as follows. A hearing on defendant's motion to reconsider orders denying the motion to dismiss the indictment and permission to file an appeal will be heard January 26th at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So what time is that? 1 o'clock for us? So 11 a.m. PT. The court will hear argument pertaining to the order to seal. The court will hear argument pertaining to the sealed order denying the motion to dismiss on basis of the grand jury and admissible evidence, lack of sufficient blah, 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 blah. The hearing will be sealed and closed to the public to protect privacy of the grand jurors. At 1 p.m., the court will hear argument pertaining to the order denying the motion to dismiss the indictment for inaccurate instructions. That hearing will be open to the public. The public and media may attend in person or can watch the live stream. So 1, 2, 3 Central. So 1 p.m. The 11 a.m. hearing will be sealed. The 1 p.m. hearing will be available to the public. So I will stream the 1 p.m. hearing, and we will 1 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Central. So it'll almost be like a Friday Night Live. Maybe I'll grab a whiskey and we'll just see what happens. A sealing conference will be following the conclusion, or a scheduling conference will begin following the conclusion of arguments on defendant's motion. The scheduling conference will be open to the public and live streamed. So then my hope is that at the end of the hearing at 1 p.m., we will start to see what date they might set a trial. That's my hope for the 26th. So we'll be here Friday at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Pacific. Time zones are hard. 1 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. Chat, let us know what it is UTC, and we'll go from there. So Friday, we will stream. Make sure you have the app in case something changes, and we'll go from there. Let's get to Q&A, shall we? It's time. It's time to go to Q&A. Chat, it is time. Let me summarize. Hold on. Let's do a summary. Let's see if we can do a summary real quick. All right. Let's see if we can summarize what happened in Idaho. Here's what happened in Idaho. There's a hearing on the 26th. The court is streaming it themselves. They have sealed just about everything. The defendant's motions regarding the dismissal because of everything going on with the grand jury were all denied. The motion with regard to the IgG familial DNA, part of that was turned over to the defense in discovery. Part of it was not. Part of the hearing on Friday, January 26th, will be sealed to the public. Part of it will be available to the public. They are arguing still whether or not the defense will be allowed to pause the proceedings and appeal in the middle of trial. If that happens, it's going to push this trial out a year or two. So we will see on Friday what's going on and if the defendant will be allowed to stay these proceedings and appeal. I think that's unlikely. But again, all of the arguments are sealed and all of the motions are sealed. So we will have to see what oral argument teaches us about what's been going on in this case, because all of it has been happening in sealed documents discussing what happened at the grand jury. And with that, it's time to go to questions. So let's back around. right. Lots of questions. I have lots of things starred. So we will be doing all of the things that we can do. Summary. Charmed. Summary. It's under seal. It's under seal. But I said I would figure out what color this lipstick is that I'm wearing today. And so I am going to do that. Hold on. So I am Googling that real quick. From my sponsor, Thrive Cosmetics. Let's see. I'm going to go to their website and take a look because I couldn't read it on the bottom because that's the age I'm at. But I really like the new lipstick. It's really hydrating. So that's been fun. And it holds, I like their glosses as well, but this has been really fun. The impactful smoothing lipstick. I dig it. Let's see what color this is. Eileen. I was right. It is Eileen. Like, come on, Eileen, but spelled differently. I-L-E-N-E. So that is the color I have been wearing. I have also been wearing Maya. Ooh, I need to try some of these other colors. They all have names. So all of the colors are under names. I will probably talk about this on the podcast. I believe they're a sponsor on this week's podcast. I have all of my Thrive products. They're all teal. They're very easy to find in the bathroom. We have questions. We have so many questions. The story about transporting the person with infected implants. We will get to it. I promise we will get to story time. I promise. Alpha Beta Omega said, yay, I have Emily live on my birthday. Can't wait to see what the updates are. It's under seal. When my kid's like, Mom, what about this? I'm going to be like, it's under seal. It's my new answer. It's outside of the venue. It's under seal. Yesterday was my birthday. Love spending it here. Happy birthday, Ty. Lots of birthdays in the chat. Hello, Lawnards. Hello to you. I love these member chats, y'all. Emily, did I miss this month members live? No, it's on Wednesday. I had to move it due to travel, and we will remind you in the app as well. Hi, Lawnards. Soon a whole year with you guys. Your gavel will go gold. It'll be very exciting. We love the gavels. I've asked repeatedly for YouTube to let us update the gavel colors more frequently. It is one of the things I hope they implement. I'm like, please, 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 please. Good afternoon, blood orange tea and notes ready. That sounds amazing. 11 months of non-lurking. Fat Yoga, thank you so much. Good to see you. Yay, a celebration of a year. Congratulations. We love these member chats. Hello from Portugal. Hello, Marta. Good to see you. Shut the front door if you come to VA. OMG. We might have to. It's pretty close. Almost 3 years. Can't imagine Tuesday, Thursday without EDB. 29 months, Emily. Absolutely amazing. Will you be covering Aaron Smith Levine's LAPD corruption, LAPD Scientology incident he streamed live? Reflect Leah Remini's experiences. Lynn, the members asked me yesterday when I was recording the podcast. I don't know what's happening. So can I give you a rundown? No. Is there a lawsuit? I don't think so. So do I know what's happening? No, I have been traveling. DMB, Royal Albert Hall, UK, April instead. No, I don't think so. I'm traveling in March to see Dave. I don't think I can also travel in April. We're going to have lots of court coverage going on, so we'll see. Thoughts on Paul World and the IP issues? Stephanie, I have no idea what that is. Truly no idea. Feel free to send it along so we can see. Ann Bell said 3 weeks cigarette-free, drinking coffee, Tennessee. Congratulations. Please raise a glass of something strong today. Our 18-year-old Pawnard, Princess Kitty, was put to sleep today due to growths in her legs. Princess Kitty, we are raising a glass to you. 18 years of a lovely, well-lived life. So cheers to Princess Kitty. Claire, there is nothing quite like it. There is nothing quite like it. So our hearts are with you. We have been there. But 18 years, what an incredible life Princess Kitty lived with you. Viewing from Wisconsin, the weather is nasty. We're getting better here. Southern Nevadans say the instead of highways too. Is that because y'all are so closely connected to California? Maybe. EDB, check out the traders. It's on my list, medicated moment. I am behind on literally everything. In Illinois, we just say 74. No I. If the roads weren't clogged with construction half the year, then maybe we'd give the highways the royal the. In California, they're just clogged with other people. The 405 to the 105 to the 110 to the 91 to the 5. Yes, and then if you're trying to go to where the 10, the 210, and the 710 all meet, you can get to Raging Waters. But that sounds like a typical day in LA. I got a Ponard sweatshirt from a friend for Christmas, and I said, "How did you know?" And she said, "It wasn't hard. You talk about EDB a lot." I love that. It's like, how did you know? Because we're here. Why could we see AH, but Murdaugh was so choppy? It truly, I can give you a very nerdy answer to that. The cell phone towers and reception to stream out the court feeds, because the court feeds are streamed out on data. So the streaming out of the court feeds on data from the Murdaugh courtroom is much more challenging, based especially on where the new Murdaugh courtroom is. It's like in the middle of a building, more underground, and it's just harder to get the feeds out. And the amount of cell towers is just less than Richmond, Virginia, which had a much easier time feeding stuff out. So it has to do with cell towers, data, and infrastructure. How much of a learning curve was saying Massachusetts town? A lot, but people told me very quickly. Love catching EDB live. Good to see you, Kathy. We love our replay crew, though. Live stream for my birthday. Happy birthday, Ashley. Lots of y'all birthday party people in the chat. This all boggles my mind. Me every day. Me every day. What would we do if two of our trials happen at the same time? We can't live stream both. We cannot. And we will figure it out. And we will do one and then we will do the other one. Or we will go day on and day off. We'll figure it out. Thank you all for the gift of memberships. Thank you, Eric. Are you thinking about coming to the UK this year? I am thinking about it. My travel schedule is in the air because of family stuff. Heather B, I'm so glad to be able to make a live. I'm glad you're here, Heather. Thank you. 11 months. Thank you. We were at UMass together. I love that. UMass was a learning curve for me coming from California. Our highways are also the. Thank you, Allison. Caitlin, I think Dan is the lawyers because Donna mentioned on a jail call that Dan said she may make it out in time. It might be, and then that would make the lawyer a potential witness. Would the state know by now if they wanted the attorney as a witness? No, because it's going to depend on what happens. It's going to depend on what happens. And that's difficult. It's difficult to know. Why has Donna Adelson changed her attorney from Marcel to the guy she's got now? Ray? I don't know what the fuck this woman is thinking. But then again, the state has accused her of helping to hire a hitman to murder her son-in-law while her daughter was going through a divorce. So I don't know. I don't know what she's doing. Can you do a quick rundown of all the ways this is a bad idea? Angela, I don't have time. It's a bad idea. There's a lot that could go wrong. And I think having somebody who's has some distance from the case could be the best opportunity for Donna's representation. Unless Donna knows she's going down. Maybe Donna knows she's going down and she's like, we've already got a retainer with that lawyer. It'll be fine. Dearest little Donna Gotti. Danger, Will Robinson. So many levels of a bad idea. I totally agree. Daniel said, could it be that nobody else wants the case? She had a lawyer. Other people will do it. Melissa asked, is there any tactical benefit whatsoever for having the same attorney as her son? I'm going to have to think of it. I'm going to have to think about it because I'm going to have to talk it out with other attorneys because, I don't see how this is a good idea. I want to know what Runkle thinks and Natalie Lawyer Chick. I want to know what the defense attorneys think about it. I just don't see where there's a benefit. I mean, maybe the benefit is that they know the case really well and they know the evidence really well and they don't have to get up to speed, but maybe the benefit for her is a speedy trial? Maybe? It's an odd thing. So Julia, have you looked at the fair use stuff with Jeanette Braun, Runkle, Cece Suarez have been covering it. I'd love your opinion. I am aware that it's happening. I have not delved into it yet because I am thousands of pages behind in the cases that we are actively covering, including the Scientology case, and I am still catching up. So I'm not there. To be fair, she did hire a hitman, not the best decision making. That's kind of where I'm at with Donna as well. Cheers to many more law adventures. We're going to have lots of court this week. The entitlement is hilarious and terrifying, Miss Z. Yep. My dad is 82. He would just ride his Harley home. Katrina, there's what it is. Shane said, EDB, they're asking politely. They aren't demanding. I don't see it as so terrible. Shane, I absolutely understand. And I am probably being too harsh on Donna because she rubs me the wrong way. And the like, why can't you just walk him out? Can't you just do this? It is a level of like, you should all do this for me that very much rubs me the wrong way. Also, ma'am, you're being arrested. You don't get to take everything with you. But I've seen a lot of police interactions not go that kindly. So Donna definitely thinks everyone should treat her a certain way. It feels to me. People are waiting to board her just like, oh, the in-flight entertainment starts early on this flight. Can you imagine people have no idea what's going on being like, do you know what happened? Do you know what happened? Do you know what happened? Watching your Murdoch coverage, you're amazing. Thank you, Debbie. We've got lots more Murdoch coverage to come. I need Donna Gotti's perp walk to be put to the Game of Thrones music with the woman yelling shame. I'm sure somebody's already done it. Question, Karen Reed case. I've talked about this in other content. I will talk about it here because we always have new folks coming in. Also, if you are new, I think we have over 10,000 of you here today. Do the YouTube things, like, subscribe. We got lots of court coverage to come this year. I will be jumping into the Karen Reed case because I have been behind on all the other coverage. I have not jumped in yet. With the Karen Reed case, it is my goal to jump into it at trial. I want to look at what's going on with the attorneys because there's some stuff going on with the attorneys and the prosecutor, but I don't want to get into the evidence of the case because I want to go in as a juror. And some of the cases, most of the cases we're covering right now that we're going to cover to trial, we have been with the case every turn of the way. I enjoy jumping into a case at trial like we did with the Brooks case and the Depp Heard case, where whatever is happening outside the case is none of our business. We're just hearing the evidence as it's presented to us. So when Karen Reed goes to trial, it is my intention to cover it and go from there. So that's what it is. I'm going to look at what's going on with the lawyers. So that's one of the things I am behind on. Road so far in Adelson. And thank you for that. We got that. EDB, can we sign up for frequent flyer miles? We need to figure that out. Will you cover the false arrest of LAPD of Aaron? Honestly, I don't know what happened. I don't know if he was arrested and booked. I don't have enough information to cover anything. So you guys have let me know that a thing happened. I will take a look when I have a minute to take a look. We have a lot to catch up on this week before a full week of coverage next week, though I'm sure he's breaking it down on his channel, right? The weather here is bipolar. True. First live in a while. Welcome. Remember, last night, Jennifer's son, Atlas's 9th birthday shout out. Hugs to all. We did shout out to Atlas. Thank you, chat. And thank you, Jennifer. And thank you, Lori. Thank you, Jennifer. Happy birthday. We got it. Don't die. Atlas, have a great 9th birthday. And if you don't have the board game Cafe Chaos yet, convince your folks that you guys need Cafe Chaos. It is one of our favorite family board games. Griffin absolutely loves it. And it was created by Odd Ones Out. It's so good. Motion for EDB to do a self-care products, showing off all our favorite beauty products. I don't know about all that. Question off topic. I have ADHD. How does the tint help? Cherry, look at the Erlen website. Today, I'm definitely not going to have time to do a full Erlen breakdown. IRLEN, and it has a whole breakdown of the scientific studies on the website. Motion to include time zone converter in the app. I don't know if we can do that. I tend to Google it. Autumn, can't think of anything to say hi. Hi, Autumn. Let's see. I'm going to try to get to all these. I don't know if I'll be able to get to all of the member chats because I'm trying to get to questions, but I love all the celebrations. You guys are great. Thank you. Cindy, almost a year already, 15 months, more than a year. So good to see you. 31 months. Feels like home here now. Christine, it feels like home here to me too. So I do love them. Thank you guys. Let's see. All of your member celebration, they're so good. Why did they want to kill the son-in-law? Jen, I've got other coverage covering the Adelson Markel case, but it seemed from everything I've read that the divorce was not going well. The grandkids and Wendy, the daughter / victim's wife, were in Tallahassee. The rest of the family was in Southern Florida, and they wanted Wendy and the kids to move to Southern Florida, and Dan was working in Tallahassee and didn't want them to move, and the court sided with him, and they wanted the children to live closer to them. That's what it seems like. Let's see. We didn't get a live alert today on Patreon, just FYI. Thank you for the heads up. Hopefully you got one in the app, and I appreciate it. Hi from Essex, UK. Happy birthday. I'm from where Rex, I was going to read Huberman, but that's not right. Huberman is from, will you be covering his trial? I have not kept up. I don't know that case. So I'm going to have to take a look, but I don't know that case. There's a lot of cases going on, so I'll have to look. Love the hoodie. I'm happy you love it. Let's see. Thank you for doing what you do. Excited for another year. Love from Norway. Love to Norway. Stay warm. Let's see. Greetings from San Francisco with my baby Leonard on the way. Congratulations. Rest well. It's such a fun time. 11 months. Congratulations. My ADHD hyperfixed food doesn't hit anymore. So sad. Christy, that's literally the worst. I'm sorry. May you find a new food soon. That is the worst. Circle back to an old one and see if it hits. Check out Kelly Copter's summary of Aaron's arrest. Okay. Over 2 years. Thank you. But generally, you guys who know my content and have been around for quite a while, if something's not a lawsuit, I generally do not comment on it until there are lawsuits, because there's no process and there's just a lot of information. I'm sure people are covering information. I just don't know. Amanda is not going to let me forget the story. I will. I promise. I wanted to get to questions. I will. I also need to talk to YouTube about the members only live streams playing in the background. I know other YouTubers have brought that up as well. So we will bring it up. Let's see. Emily, did you see that Scott Peterson is trying to get a new trial? Has been trying to get a new trial for a while. I'm interested what the Innocence Project is seeing, that they're bringing it up again. As that wanders through, I'm keeping an eye on it. It is something that I am interested in. Absolutely something I am interested in. So, absolutely. Where is the Donna Adelson case taking place? Tallahassee, Florida. So, Julia said, oh, is that why I get stuck on a food? Yes. ADHD is wide and vast. And my mom used to get very annoyed with this. Oh, Lisk. Thank you. I couldn't connect the name. in the case. Lisk is on the list. For me, the Gilgo Beach serial killer. Thank you. That is on the docket. So I'm keeping like a long shot eye on it as it goes to trial. Same with Sarah Boone, because there's been so many ins and outs of not going to trial. We're keeping a distance on those two. And there's been a lot of legal stuff going on. Oh gosh, my brain just absolutely froze. There's another case that has a bunch of stuff going on with the lawyers that I'm keeping an eye on as well. So there's a couple that are getting added to the docket, but I'm also trying to balance our civil cases and all of the homicide cases. Like, there are so many homicide cases right now. We need to balance out. Not the Karen Reed one. There's another one. Oh my God, hold on. I'm like, it's the one Candace always texts me about. We're going to just go to my text real quick. And see. Where is it? Oh, I would have to go all the way back through our texts. Let's see. No. It will come to me as I'm talking. So, but on the docket. No, Richens will come back. Delphi. Thank you, Christine D. Delphi. So much nonsense going on with the lawyers. Like, I'm fascinated. So Richard Allen, we will come back to Delphi. I have not dived into it yet. With Richens, there is stuff going on with the civil cases. There's not much going on with the criminal cases. I need to call the court and get the next date. Blindside is on the docket to come back. It keeps getting bumped by other cases. Did we cover Natalia Grace at one point? No, I haven't. So when I look at the docket, there is so much. The Delphi stuff, the legal wranglings are very interesting. And even though I do not like to cover cases with child victims, there is a lot of legal that I think needs to be discussed. So is there anything legal happening with the Natalia Grace case at this point? Because I don't think that there is. Current pepperonis with Kojak cheese cubes. Fair enough. All right. We have lots of civil cases to get back to too. Story time, and then we're going. This is for all of you that make it to the end of the stream. It's where we bury the story times that aren't on the members only live stream. There was a case where somebody had stolen an identity to steal a medical credit account. And was using somebody else's identity to get that medical credit account so they could get plastic surgery without paying for the plastic surgery. So it would be on somebody else's credit. And got ass implants, like booty lift implants. But also had a big old tattoo on their lower back, like tramp stamp area of a donkey kicking outwards. Like literally a kicking ass above the ass that got the implants. Why? Because there were pictures of all of the things. Some of you have heard this story before. So donkey. So just so you have the visual of the voluptuous booty that got implants, and then the donkey tattoo kicking backwards or kicking out, which was just. The defendant was like 5'2". So this was ample booty, adding ample booty. So ass implants. The ass implants had gotten infected, and the defendant was on their way back to a doctor's visit because the implants had gotten infected. I don't know how that happened. I'm not going to speculate. But this would have been, gosh, like 2007, 2008, like pre-BBL days. So they go and arrest her at the doctor's office when she goes in to get treated for the implants, and can't have her sitting down at all. Can't have her sitting anywhere. So they have to transport her everywhere, kind of laying face down like this on a gurney, like the whole time. So she, even when she's transported into court, because early days 2000s, there was no Zoom court. They couldn't have her Zoom in from the medical ward. They had to transport her laying down on a gurney because they could not have her sit literally anywhere. So with the infected ass, it seems that the sheriff's department medical ended up just removing the implants. And so the implants that were stolen got essentially repossessed at the jail. They removed the implants and treated the infection. But I think that the sense I got from the sheriffs is that they were deeply annoyed that local law enforcement had arrested this person with a raging ass infection. And then the county jail had to determine how to deal with it and treat this infection with somebody who could not sit down and had to be laying flat. Like, jail is not set up for transporting people laying flat on a gurney the whole time. This is not what they are set up to do. The medical care is set up for somebody who got injured during an arrest, somebody who got injured in custody. It's not really set up for post-plastic surgery that was stolen gone wrong. So at the end of the day, they got felony charges for all of the identity theft and stealing the surgery, and their ass implants got repossessed. So an infection, no ass, and a lot of time laying like this on a gurney getting transported back and forth to court. It was not good. I wouldn't necessarily want to not have my doctor dealing with that, but no. So, yep. Ari Deary was like 9 years in the ER. Why is she prone? Oh. Yep. Why is she prone? That's why. No, I was cackling reading this file because this was brought to me to file. I filed the case. I was reading this going, you've got to be joking me. You've got to be joking me. You've got to be joking me. And my coworkers are coming into my office. They're like, what is happening? I'm like, she was arrested at the doctor's office with an infection around her stolen ass implants, and the sheriff's department has to transport her on a gurney face down. Like, so it was definitely a moment. She very much wanted the plastic surgery, could not afford it, stole somebody's identity to get it. Look, man, just no. And then the surgery did not recover well from the surgery. I do not think that these are common implants to get. I can't imagine she's happy with the results when the county medical had to take them out. Look, county medical doctors are fantastic. They are doctors. However, I don't know if they would have sent her to a general surgeon or a specific plastic surgeon. I don't know. What they would have said is take these things out and heal the infection, because what we can't do is continue transporting somebody prone on a gurney. Definitely wasn't worth it. Karma was swift. Karma was not a cat in this. Karma was an ass infection in this. In this, it was instantaneous karma. It's instantaneous. So, and I wouldn't want to have to be healing in custody either. It just, all of it miserable. All of it miserable. Was this case pro bono? No, it went to the public defender's office. So it actually was a donkey booty, Phaedra Parks, no offense. It definitely was a kick ass. I don't know how the booty ended up after the implants were removed, though. It seems bad. Like, it just doesn't seem good. It just does not seem good. So anyway, is this one of those possession is 9/10 of the law? No, not this one. I imagine it did not go to a plastic surgeon. But when I was working warrant duty, we had tons of calls from medical because they needed warrants to search people's internal cavities because they were hiding things in there. This is not the kind of removing things from somebody's ass that the jail is used to. The jail is used to removing things from somebody's ass in another way. Did the implants become evidence? No, they took pictures and threw them away. What insurance covers butt implants? They definitely weren't insurance. It was a medical credit line. And people use medical credit lines for all types of plastic surgery, dental work, and things like that. Was it a wonky? Aaron, 10 out of 10. Holy shit, that was too loud. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. The tattoo of the kicking donkey was not wonky, as I recall, but it was very much a 90s tramp stamp. Did you laugh in court? No. I felt, by the time we got to court, I felt kind of bad. Sheila, bingo. This is not the kind of removing something from somebody's ass that the jail is used to. It's just facts. Just facts. Just facts. A true fuck around and find out. Yep. Yep. Like care credit. Yes, exactly like care credit. So the person she stole from is like, wait, what? My medical money was used for what? Or the person she stole from was like, wait, what? I don't have an account I don't have a medical credit account. What are you doing? The problem with being a victim of crime is always a giant pain in the ass, right? It is always something that derails your life in some way or another. The amount of time and energy it takes to pick up the pieces from being a victim of financial crime is wild. it is difficult to repair. It is difficult to work with. It is a very difficult thing to recover from. I mean, there's never a good way to be a victim of crime, right? But recovering from financial crimes is substantial. It goes, the recovery period goes beyond healing physical injuries. So it's a huge thing. So, alrighty, with all of that, y'all, I've got to get going. Alrighty then, I've got to get going. I've got lots to prep. We've got lots on the agenda for tomorrow. I will see you as your emotional support, Emily, in the chat tomorrow. It is a difficult topic, but I promise I do not go into all of the difficulty of it. I do not get into all of the details in it, but it is a difficult topic. But then we also cover Kevin Franke. Thursday, I'll be back. We have updates in a number of cases that I know that you are excited about, and we will do those updates Thursday. We will be in court on Friday. You need to be in the Law and Order app. It will keep you up to date on all of the things. That is where you need to be. Free app, iOS, Android. Get your alerts. We are going to be doing some really exciting stuff in that case, or in the app. Me getting derailed. We are going to be doing some really exciting stuff in the app this year, and I can't wait. LISC is on the docket. It's in the we're getting there. There's a lot of cases to jump into, and it is highly energy. It is a high energy need to jump into new cases and bring them to you in a distillable and understandable way. So it's like double dutch. You've got to find the right place to jump in on new cases. So sometimes we grab a case right at the beginning of the case. Sometimes we grab a case when it goes to trial. It's just about me trying to balance the cases we're covering, my energy, and what's on the current docket, so that I don't get 9,000 DMs saying, girl, but what about what's going on with Britney Spears, Motley Crue, or the other cases? Because I try to make sure that we're not abandoning the cases we've been covering for years. What about Rust? Lacey, I'm going to put a little bit of Rust on Thursday. There's not much to say other than the short that I put up on the Quick Bits channel. You guys know I have a second channel, Quick Bits. There's really not much other than Alec Baldwin was indicted again. I covered it in a quick bit. It's a 1-count indictment, and we don't have more information until there's a new court hearing. Will I be covering the Gutierrez-Reed trial? I hope that it's televised. If it's televised, I intend to cover it. I think it'll be interesting, and that should be in February. We also have Girardi going to trial in May. There's a lot coming up this month, so it's a lot of navigating. So don't worry, we're working out our dockets. So thank you. I appreciate you. NetNet is mad at me. NetNet, I'm sorry. I had to watch the Adelson case without you. I apologize. It's so not the same. So happy you covered this. Can't tell you how much your commentary is so good. I know this is the best place to watch live court coverage. I know it is. And I try not to abandon you. I do. And I try to balance that I am literally just one person. So, and it is hard. It's really busy right now. And when I tell you I read the documents, I read the documents. So when I go through 1,000 pages of documents in the Leah Remini case, it takes my time away from prepping other cases because I read them so I can give you the information. And we don't just bounce from live court to live court. There is still stuff with documentary evidence that we need to jump into. And I balance that truly the best that I can. So some of our streams are going to be more overviews and catch-ups, and some of them are going to be deep dives. We have a deep dive on Thursday on a case that's one of my favorites, and that probably tells you everything you need to know about it. So I will see you guys tomorrow in the chat for the podcast. I will see you on Thursday, and I will see you on Friday. Make my heart happy and go download the app. Thanks. Okay, bye. You can stay up to date with everything I'm covering and
fast notifications on our free iOS and Android app at lawnerdapp.com or search the App Store for Law Nerd. You can also follow me around social media, and don't forget to check out my podcast, The Emily Show, with quick bits dropping every Monday, summarizing everything I do here on the live streams on Tuesday and Thursday for when you just have time for the quick bits. Thanks for being a Law Nerd.